3 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to Island Tea, the 420 edition.
Good morning. I don't even have to ask what mood you're in.
Well,
it is indeed 420. I'm scared to ask what plans you
maybe,
have.
Classified. But
So, funny
although they
enough,
don't need to be classified anymore
I
when
know,
it comes
right?
to 420. Maybe
what is it? A sigh of relief?
sigh of relief? What do you mean?
Just like it's no longer classified. It doesn't have to
True,
be
yes,
classified.
exactly. And our friend didn't know what Azard didn't know what 420 is, and I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who don't know what it is. So maybe we should tell them 420 is April 20th. It's the day that the advocates for marijuana legalization and marijuana liberalization celebrate as you'd say a day of affirmation
Right.
for cannabis in all its uses.
You know what
Right?
I found out this morning?
Mm-hmm.
That there is a glut in the cannabis market
I expected
on
that to
the
happen
West Coast.
in California.
On the West Coast. Because what's happening is, even though 19 states in the U.S. have approved it, some have not, and they haven't approved cross-state trading, like cross-border trading. So what's been happening is Portland has a whole bunch of marijuana, but they can't send it to California, who has a shortage.
Yeah.
So I was like, I know where you can send some.
I know, but also, man, politicians like really know to screw things up, huh?
I plead the fifth.
You plead the fifth, okay?
The other thing too, like yesterday I was having a really nice conversation with the chairman of Music Festival, and we were discussing the 420 area, because me in my decor events mindset,
Yes, great.
I was trying to figure out like, how are you guys gonna create this area, and how are you gonna make it not only 420 friendly, but appealing to the persons that actually want to go in there. So we were tossing around some ideas. So I'm hoping I get to play a role in that.
Oh, good, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was really interesting.
If I can't afford to get in there, I'll be sure to stand downwind, so I can
Benefit.
I can get the collateral effects.
Oh wow! Have you ever tried the tea?
The tea?
Yeah.
When I was a kid one time.
Yeah, they say it's good for asthma. So I went
good
through
for all
a
kinds
whole
of things.
period of drinking the tea to get rid of asthma, especially when there was a period of me going through a whole bunch of asthma attacks back to back.
I think a lot of the older people, I heard an old landlady of mine on Freedom, I think it was last week, and she was basically expressing her reservations about marijuana liberalization and so on. But I think a lot, and it's interesting when it's someone you look up to and someone who is smart, but a lot of times they still hold on to these knee-jerk, reactionary type outlook on certain things that have been, let's say, illegal, questionable for so long, and they don't realize. I think a lot of the other thing too. I think someone mentioned it. Was it Ike? Did Ike mention that last week?
About
I seem to remember
about the whole 420 thing.
Well, yeah, didn't he make a reference to it at some point? I think
I don't recall, but I know he was talking about it on his show.
Oh, maybe
and
it's
I
his
was
show I'm
really
thinking about.
happy to hear that. By the way, good morning, Nurse Casey. I see you're listening. I hope you have an awesome day today. To yourself and the other nurses at the maternity ward, I will see you guys soon. I have presents. Thanks for tuning in.
So I was saying, I found out. I found out. Even after I've always been very liberal about the whole marijuana thing, I found out that a lot of these incidents that we used to hear about when we were kids, it's because people were mixing the marijuana with all sorts of weird stuff like cocaine.
They haven't stopped.
And they haven't stopped. And a lot of people, when they hear these stories, especially confirmation bias, the people who are against it, they hear this story. See, look, that's
But
because,
you know, it's preconceived notions, right?
Exactly.
And I always believe, and this is my controversial side, right? I always believe that the higher ups and like we like to say, the colonizers, they kept the stuff that was good from us.
I prefer colonizers.
And
Let's go ahead.
they made it bad because they didn't want us to have access to it, right? Like all the time we're having all these issues with marijuana and with cocaine, but where is it really coming from, right? The Caribbean doesn't produce cocaine. And when it's leaving the Caribbean and going through the whole transshipment issue, where is it going to? It's going to the U.S. The Caribbean grows marijuana, but the Caribbean can't use it because it's a crime. Who decriminalize it? Who's making all of this money off of the same marijuana? Right? So I always believe that there are some things that they criminalize and term as bad and all of that just because they don't want us to have access to it. But back to what you were saying about EK, I was grateful to hear some of the things he had to say as it relates to the whole 420, because he was saying, you know, just like how you like to smoke your weed, there's some people that don't like it. There's some people that don't like the smell. There's some people that don't want to be around it. You know, so the least you can do is move away if you're going to light up. I remember I was at Cooler Fete last year, and it was a bunch of us standing in a crowd, and, you know, we were partying and whatever. And this guy comes from out of nowhere and just lights up. And I'm looking at him like, there's a bunch of people standing here that are not smoking. Why would you come between us to smoke? So I tapped him nicely on his shoulder and I was like, do you know how to wash hair? Right? He's watching at me like, who is this psycho woman, right? I'm like, no. Are you good at washing hair and maybe doing laundry? And he goes, do you want me to wash your hair? I was like, I actually just got my hair washed and I don't want to get it washed again. So do you think it's possible that you could just shift over a little bit so that my hair and clothing doesn't get all of that? But he was really, you know, and I kind of made it funny, and he was really understanding, and then he finally, you know, drifted away. But I mean, come on, you're gonna light up.
Him. or glamored him, or both.
Whatever it was, it worked, right? But it's crazy. I have absolutely nothing against marijuana and you smoking it, drinking it. I even tried the CBD butter from my hand, like when it starts paining. And there's some that you can take for sleep. So I've tried all of that, like especially when I'm in pain. But there's absolutely no need for you to force it on anybody else. You want to smoke, go in a corner and smoke. Nobody else has to, you know, get that secondhand smoke. I think it's the only polite thing to do.
Exactly.
I mean, EK was like, some of y'all things don't even smell good, right? And I'm in my office cracking up. He was like, some of the stuff you guys are smoking smells stink.
It's because of the crap they add to it. You know,
Yeah.
Because marijuana itself, I love the smell.
But what fascinates me is the different varieties and the names.
Yeah.
Right? And as a teenager, I remember like listening to Sean Paul, and he's singing about weed, and me not even realizing until one of my friends goes like, do you know what Purple Haze is? Do you know what this is? And
that Sean Paul, I'm going to say Sean Paul, that D'Angelo song I played before 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Brown Sugar, you know, that's a variety. You didn't know that song was?
No, I didn't know it was about
that was one of the songs. Yeah, that was the first one I played. Yeah, Brown Sugar, that's what it's about. It's about marijuana.
Know that.
That's
okay.
why
New appreciation.
That's why I played it first.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, there's some people that just will never accept it. Some people that have been so, want of a better word, brainwashed
let me
to believe that it's bad.
Let me say
that
one
they
thing.
can never see the benefits of it.
I'll say one thing to them. Just name me one thing that tobacco is good for.
Right, that's true. Tobacco is poisonous.
Yeah. One thing I think that's important to point out on 420 Day about marijuana is that it has myriad uses.
Yes.
Marijuana itself is known to have, I think, over 200 active compounds.
Wow.
Across a whole bunch of medicinal applications.
Agreed.
The tea, you can drink the tea. I don't know if you know, for example, some sick people who have problems with appetite, they give them marijuana to increase,
open up their appetite,
or even people who want to gain weight and so on.
And persons who are terminally ill, sometimes when they're in that much pain.
Marijuana is the only thing that,
I saw like a whole documentary on CNN about it. So for me, it's like, I think everything has its good and its bad. And I believe that everything in moderation.
Exactly.
Right?
In fact, the funny thing is, I think with marijuana, arguably the most damaging thing you can do with it is smoking. I mean, I'm saying on a spectrum, I'm not saying smoking it is necessarily bad, but I'm just saying if you look at all the things you can do with it in terms of cooking, making medicine, teas and stuff, smoking is actually slightly worse than all the other things.
Others. There's a whole series on Netflix called Cooking with Cannabis. Do you know Kellis? Remember Kellis?
Yeah.
My milkshake brings up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe she was putting marijuana in the
milkshake.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, it worked. All the boys came to the yard, right?
I'm telling you, yeah.
But she has like this show. I don't know if they're into a new season or what, but there's a show on Netflix called Cooking with Cannabis. Mm-hmm. So you should check it out, because I'm obsessed with cooking. I love cooking. Actually working on a cookbook.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
But she has this show, and it's so amazing to see the way they use it. But again, everything in moderation. And I think that's the problem that we're having with some of our youths. They're not using it for what it was intended. I mean, the Rastafarians have it as their sacrament,
which we understand
right?
is a separate thing. Yeah.
And I feel like some people don't quite understand how useful, how powerful, and how special it is. So it's like, soon as they wake up in the morning, it's not even like they're doing a ritual. Like, let's say, okay, they're praying and they're kind of like burning some of it or drinking the tea or whatever. It's like, soon as they get up, they have to smoke. It's at lunchtime, they have to smoke. Like, and I think that's what gives it a bad rap.
Bingo.
Right? It's the abuse of it. That's what gives it a bad rap. Because if you look at the plant itself, like you said, there's so many medicinal uses, right? I would much prefer to go use a plant than take a pill, right? The pill is probably a small part of the plant and a whole bunch of chemicals,
exactly.
like paracetamol. You know, there's a paracetamol plant, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a whole big bunch of it in my yard, and I'm not sure what happened. I think my gardener got to it, not realizing it was
I have a lot,
paracetamol.
so if you need some,
you could get a slip.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. So I would much prefer to go pick the paracetamol leaf and steep it and make a tea and drink that than to go pop a paracetamol pill.
You know, I've never used it. My wife is who told me about it, and we have a big patch in the yard.
And it spreads like wildfire.
Yes,
like
that's
once
what
you
I
plant
noticed.
one small,
it's huge.
I had a hole set outside my office, and I had to eventually get rid of it because when rain would fall, there's like a pond nearby, and the frogs would come and live under the paracetamol plant because it forms like a mat, and it's nice and cool under there. And
that's where the frogs are.
I'm terrified of frogs and
I love
lizards.
them. Yeah.
No, they're cool and slimy. So one morning I opened my office and there were like 8 of them there. That was it for the plant. I was like, nope, not inside my office. That was it.
I'll bring some for you. Just remind me.
Thank you.
But you know, I always look at that bush and I go, we've been trying to get some spinach to grow for forever, but meanwhile this plant is just
like wildfire.
Yes,
and the sticky mint. What do you call it?
The
thyme.
sticky thyme. Yeah,
French.
that I like.
Yeah, we call it like broadleaf thyme. So
broadleaf thyme, yeah,
because it's broader than the regular.
You have?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, yeah,
growing like wildfire. Let me know if you need a piece.
No, we have a big. That one is big too, but I guess I don't complain because I like it. But the paracetamol, I've never used it, so
you should try it.
It's
pretty bitter, but
I just kind of give it the side eye, like, why are you so big? I need spinach.
I know, right?
But
to our 420 persons out there, happy 420.
Happy 420. It's 18 minutes after 8 o'clock. How about we take a quick break and come back? And by the way, that instrumental, that's the instrumental for that new track I played this morning. That was released on 420. Yeah, Buju and Snoop Dogg. It's called High Life.
Yeah, I was listening to it on the way here.
Yeah.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Strapped for cash? Get Instacash. Payday late? Get Instacash. Have items new or used you don't need? Get cash for them at Instacash. We buy and sell quality new and used tools, electronics, jewelry, household items, and more. If you're strapped for cash, think Instacash. Sell an item for cash or buy an item. Ask about the convenient Instacash layaway plans and buyback options. Instacash is same-day cash, no credit checks, and guaranteed privacy. Get cash for your goods. Visit Instacash across from Caribbean Lotto in the Hoswoods Complex or call 465-0222 and 669-8390.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Hey, it's time to continue the high life on 420 Island Tea. It's 8:20.
Jamsa, how much are you enjoying this day? Because you are so much on cue. It's time to continue the high life. Really?
Oh, hey, I mean, you know.
I'm surprised you didn't bring me any brownies or gummy bears.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't seen any of those in a while.
So much for this high life.
Imagine, yeah, I'm so on, you're saying I'm so on point that I haven't even had my joint yet.
Oh, good grief. I'll just stick to the tea and the gummies.
You know, there's some, the outrage industrial complexes. Some people they're pulling up. What is
he going on with? A friend of mine actually got me some CDB gummy bears because I've been having trouble sleeping, with this arm issue. And so he goes, I'm giving this to you. Please read the instructions and follow them, right? Because I think I told him a story where a friend of mine got me like this cute little muffin, right? And it's a really nice looking muffin. And he goes, Candy, eat this in small pieces. So this is when I was in horrible pain. Nobody knew what was wrong. And I was just going nuts, not getting any sleep. And he goes, eat this in small portions. And so I started out eating it in small portions. And then one night I came home and I totally forgot that the muffin was laced. And I ate the whole thing. Like I ate about 3/4 of the muffin. Heaven help me, I've not had a muffin with that since then. It was a disaster. Haven't touched the stuff since then.
I know enough to just have a cube.
Right. So I didn't remember. Like I'm hungry. I go to the fridge. I'm like, there's my muffin. And I totally forgot that the muffin is laced, right?
Yeah.
Never again. Never again.
But when you hit it just right, it's
I don't know. I'm never trying that muffin again.
No, I mean in terms of if you're having it in edibles,
right?
When you hit it just right, it's fine. And people say it's addictive. It's not. I haven't had anything in ages, but
Is this like a signal for somebody to? I have none. I can't offer
No,
you
you're
any.
saying.
Oh my goodness. So what are we discussing today? I know we missed Vernon last week and I had so many questions primed for him.
Oh, we're gonna have him
So
today.
I'm
Don't worry.
hoping that there's no emergency press conference or anything that stops him from tuning in.
I know.
Today. Good morning, Mrs. Franklin.
I sent you Dwyer's
commentary.
Commentary.
Oh,
I didn't have time because he sent it to me late-ish, and I didn't even have time to listen to it, but
I
we're
think
gonna
I
have to get
heard
through
it in its original form. I heard it when he was bringing it over. Well, I heard it on Freedom FM.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. Pretty controversial.
You know what why I thought of it just now? I was just here looking on the news here and my news feed here, and there's a headline here from your neighbor country saying there's a concern in Suriname about this huge influx of Asians. So when I read that, I thought of Dwyer's because I listened a bit of it, but I didn't.
But that is not new anywhere because I think 2 years ago, Guyana was complaining about an influx of the Chinese as well. You know, what always bothers me, and I think it's because I'm coming from a place where I experienced it myself, right? What always bothers me is the way people react to persons moving, right? As a Kititian, as a Guyanese, we don't stay put. There was a point in time I lived in Trinidad. There was a point in time I lived in California and I lived in New York. So people are constantly moving. What rubs me the wrong way is when people go, oh, they come in here and taking all the jobs. The jobs were here all the time. You were not making use of them. All the opportunities have been here. And what's not here, people create. So there was a store there, abandoned. They came, they rented it, they opened a grocery store by whatever means, because I know sometimes they get like loans from the government and they have to pay back those loans. But my point is the store was there, unoccupied all the time. As soon as the people open a store, you say, oh, all of a sudden y'all buying from the Chinese. Oh,
but
they come in and they're taking jobs. So why didn't you just go rent the store and do something all the time?
Yes, but you know, some of the outrage should be reserved for the government to allow this to happen.
Thank you.
Because take for example, a Dominican friend of mine told me that in Dominica the Chinese are not allowed to do anything else but Chinese restaurants. They cannot open grocery stores. They are limited to they're limited to. Which is something even before I knew that, this is something I said they should be limited to Chinese restaurants. The end. I don't care what anyone says.
For me, it's like, I don't even agree with that because I feel like everybody should have an equal opportunity, but of course within the confines of the law.
But also,
right?
they wouldn't give us an equal opportunity in their
that's
countries.
it. That's why I said
so why should we give them an equal opportunity?
But that's why I said within the confines of the law, right? So the same rule that is going to apply to me or Azard or you should also apply to them. And that's one of the things that I think, raises concern when they get these duty-free and 99-year lease and, all of that. So that's where you should take your outrage, right? Because the same nonsense is happening in Guyana. They're being allowed to get into the lumber business. And I know, for instance, there's an issue where they just practically leveled a forest in Guyana.
Oh, my God.
Leveled it, right? And they're into mining now. And they're into grocery stores and, of course, the same Chinese restaurants. But for me, is make it equal across the board, right? The same things that are going to apply to a local, let it apply to somebody coming here to do business. And that goes both ways, as in not only is it that, people are going to move, and so you really can't stop that, but also
yes, you can.
But why would you?
Legislation.
But why would you want to stop it? That's what makes for diversity.
Because
That's what builds up a country because you're learning about different cultures, different ethnicities, different races. I personally don't have an issue with that.
We already have a badly unbalanced world
my
as far as the power dynamic.
Listen, this has been going on since, according to one of our comments, one of the comments on the chat, this has been going on since biblical days. Relocating, Exodus. Think about the Tower of Babel. That's when God just decided he was going to scatter everybody because everybody wanted to bunch up one place.
But
if you know your Bible, right? I personally don't have a problem with it. My issue is legislation. Right?
Exactly. That's
you
all I'm
should
saying.
not be able to come here and have an unfair advantage over anyone else. You should be able to
Over
come
locals.
over anyone
Locals.
across the board. Because now, see, this is where you and I are gonna clash,
Let's
right?
get in first.
Because when you say
You know I
locals,
love you, but let's agree to disagree.
No, but when you say locals, then it means you're shutting out other CARICOM countries.
Are you still gonna get your paracetamol bush, you know? But
Listen, and you're definitely not getting any of mine. You didn't expect me to say that.
you want
did not expect that part.
You want to take two quick
Sure.
calls? And are we going to be joining Vernon Springer at Point FM in Antigua at 8:30? Okay, that caller. Okay, callers, come on. I saw you doing the Christmas tree thing just now on the phone. So let's get the calls going. You guys have about a minute. So if someone, okay, here we go. If someone can call,
Hello.
caller, you have 30 seconds. We're going to Antigua in about.
I mean, I'm so very quick. Lady,
Hi.
you ain't sounding bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you could see clearly what these people doing. If you can't walk in the country when we go, they ain't supposed to walk here. Now, when they go all around the country and the mama and papa shop, so you go up as little boy in these areas, seeing, and they just push them aside. What you call that?
And that's what I'm saying.
The government giving them money. They
Right.
got money like dogs to do with the one in the country. This thing don't can't work like this.
No,
It's
that's
the
what I'm
legislation,
saying.
And we got to tell them what they could do. Not just come here and fit in and feel like we're on competition with all of us. Where sense is going? As educated people, it's street people could see these kids one tomorrow. Have a good day, man. Come on.
But you're not paying attention. What I said was that the government is who needs to set the laws, who needs to set the legislation. We as a people can't do anything.
Yeah, we can.
We're
We
not
can-
the ones that are
We can
allowing
jam them.
them.
We can jam them for the
How
nonsense.
can you
How
as a
about that?
single person do anything?
Well,
No.
I can talk.
What you can do is make a comment on the radio.
Speech is free.
And if it's a bunch of us making the same comment, then the government can hear and changes can be
Yeah.
implemented. It makes absolutely no sense calling and attacking me, calling and you saying nonsense. You jamster. It makes absolutely no sense. What you need to do is get together, make a concerted effort, have a proposal put together, and then consult the government on it. But as a one person making noise, it makes no sense.
You know, I am
Wait,
listening to the
take the call.
conversation.
Take the
Oh,
call.
there's a
Yeah,
call?
take it.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
I call it. Yeah, you have 30 seconds. Skip it
Hold
short
on.
because
I
we're going
will
to.
be able to get along.
Well, come on.
Go ahead.
Good training. Good training. Let's go.
Say
Come.
what you need to say. Don't worry.
Darling, my dear darling. Simmer down, all right?
I am quite calm. I'm not sure if you're looking at it on the streaming, but I'm
No,
quite calm.
I'm not. You can look calm, but what is being projected through your voice, it doesn't sound so. I think you need to go back and listen to what you're saying. I don't have much time now, but I might have to get it in. Listen, if you were born in Guyana, I am born here, somebody else is in Jamaica. We are all one. So this thing about the separation among CARICOM countries and the islands, this is the miseducation that we get. No,
You heard
let me
me say
leave that.
that?
I'm going to come to the Chinese. The Chinese are a different group. We may not have any plan for our future. They do. And you have to understand the objectives or the motives why the Chinese are spreading out. If you think they're going to come here and love you or I, think again. If you think their plans and their purposes and their objectives is going to fall in line with ours, if we do, think again. They are not here to live among people. They are here to conquer. They are the new conquerors. Listen, China is overpopulated. They need somewhere to send their citizens. China need land. They need resources. You see what they're doing in Africa? They go and they pump a lot of money, building up these kinds of infrastructure, knowing fully well that some of these countries cannot repay the loan. So what do you think is going to happen? Somewhere in the agreement, the twins, if they default, they take control of all of this, they take control of that, they take control of the resources and all of that. It's the same thing. It's the same mindset, just like the West, but just that they use a different approach to get where they're going. All of them is the same. So you talk about equal footing, not equal footing like citizens and the West and China. If you say we as people, whether we were born in Guyana, Belize, Jamaica, once we are the same people, yes. But when it comes to them, it can't be equal footing, ma'am. What are you talking about? Nobody's supposed to come here outside of us and say they have the same opportunities like us. Otherwise, we are going to always be at a disadvantage.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, caller.
Always.
Okay, caller. Let you
You
go
are
on.
included with us, darling. You are us. So I should go to Guyana and feel like I was born there. You are us. Don't separate us. But when it comes to the others, they look after themselves. We have to look after ourselves as a people. Equal footing for us as a people. Others can't be the same. Have a blessed day.
Thank you,
Okay.
and same to you.
Yeah, I let her go ahead because Vernon wasn't quite ready. But
And
they're coming to us soon.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So maybe we can address her call. I think you misunderstood what I'm saying, firstly. Secondly, I personally do, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. Just as you're entitled to yours, I'm entitled to mine. I do not believe that as a race or an ethnicity that anyone is better than the other, right? I believe that people should be allowed to move freely across the world, and that is my belief. I believe that it bonds well, it comes across well for cultural exchanges and diversity. I also said that if persons are going to be coming here and they want to do business, that it is the government's responsibility to make sure that we all trade on the same footing. I specifically said about duty-free concessions and about 99-year leases, which I know they often give hotels and other persons. So that is my point. If you go to Guyana or you come to St. Kitts or you go to Belize and you want to open a business, you should be on the same footing and be given the same rules and regulations that locals are governed by. That is my belief, and I will stand on that. So you're totally entitled to your opinion, and I won't try to shake you on that. But I don't agree that, and what rubs me the wrong way is when us as locals go into the Chinese establishments, because nobody's forcing anybody to go into them and support them. But when they go in there, it's the disrespect for me. And I can speak from a point of having experienced it, because when I first moved here, and I moved here as a 12-year-old child, I didn't even understand anything about governments and immigration to that extent. And I was attacked. I was attacked constantly in school. I was bullied. And this is why I am completely against this whole xenophobic attitude. I don't think I'm riled up. Maybe you're hearing my passion in my voice, but I am not riled up. And I will stand on my point. We need to stop with the discrimination. We need to stop attacking persons. If it is that from a business perspective, you think that they're being given an unfair advantage, then the government is who you need to speak to. So calling in and giving me a lecture and attacking the Chinese is not going to change anything.
Looks like Azard needs a brownie or a gummy or something.
No, I realized the conversation, and we moved from the cannabis to this conversation. I realized it's kind of bit heated. So I was listening to both sides.
Feel free to jump in at any point in time.
We're just waiting on Vernon.
Yeah, so I'm thinking on both sides, I don't know what it is that the Chinese are being offered when they come here to
Precisely.
You guys want to take a call in the meantime?
I don't have the facts on that.
Well.
I mean, we are making assumptions as to what they are given. I don't know. We don't know the people.
None of us know.
We don't know what arrangements are being made.
But to attack them, and instead of putting the anger and the frustration in the right place, I think that's what causes the problem. Like, it really grinds my gear when I go into the supermarket and I see how, the customers are speaking to the staff, because I know for a fact they wouldn't go into a TDC or a Sonia Car or any of the other local shops and do that. But if you're upset and you feel like they're having an unfair advantage, then that is something that you need to take to your constituency rep or your prime minister or your government minister, whoever it is.
Just hang on. Okay.
Okay.
Caller, go ahead. It's 8:38 as we await
Okay,
Vernon
good
Springer.
morning. I'm listening to the two
Be brief.
different sides of it.
Be
I
brief.
have no. Good morning to you guys.
Good morning.
I have no reason to dispute persons who have the different sides of it. But I find that and the young lady said a while ago, we have this xenophobia in thinking it's a navy against people, which is unwarranted. The Chinese, most of the Chinese businesses, are they renting property from Kitishans or Nigerians, or they own the property? So they are putting into our Kitishan hands. You go into their business and we disrespect them for what reason? What are you going in there for if you don't want to spend with them? You understand? So I've always heard this thing about Chinese coming to the Caribbean to take over. When I'm old enough to say, which country have been taken over by the Chinese so far? Which African nation have been taken over by the Chinese so far?
Are you serious right now?
Which one?
With that question.
Which
Are you
one,
serious?
Which one the Chinese
Are you
running?
serious?
But answer him.
Take
Which one?
over. Take over is.
No, you make an answer. Make an
Yeah,
answer and tell me which one they
wait.
take over.
But wait. Take over
No,
as
you-
a.
no, you-
No,
but
wait.
you-
Wait, no, you're not gonna talk over me. You're not gonna do that. Sorry.
speaking over
Listen,
him too.
listen. Hey, wait. I'm not gonna stand for it. I am saying, take over as an operative term is very loaded. So you talking take over in absolutist terms? I am not. I'm talking about take over in practical terms.
What practical terms are
As
you
in,
talking
as in, take over in everything except saying take over.
Well, can
Well,
we
we
let
don't
him
have time-
finish
we
his
don't have
point?
time- we don't
Can
have
we
time
let
to
him
go into
finish his
it.
point, Jamster, and then you can,
Give
Yeah,
an
let him
example,
finish his point.
Johnson. Give an example.
I feel like being cryptic right now, so just continue.
So you can't put something in the atmosphere and being
Well,
cryptic to
you
people.
you
Follow
didn't
what
make
you're
well,
saying.
you didn't really make any sense. I'm just letting you
I
know.
didn't make any sense,
Jamster,
but
can
you're
you
not
let
making
him
sense.
finish his
What-
point?
Finish your point.
What is
Let him finish.
happening?
Go ahead, Carlo.
What is happening in St. Kitts and Nevis for the Chinese for you to say they're taking over to relatively? That make no sense.
Funny how nobody goes
Because what do
against.
they control? They control our business places?
They listen.
Are they controlling the commercial sphere?
You don't go on
Are they
YouTube and
totally
see.
taking it over?
You don't go on YouTube and see the videos with
I don't
Chinese
wanna go on
disrespecting
YouTube.
Africans,
I
beating
live in
Africans, kicking
live in
Africans. There was a story. I don't know if it was one of you all who told me about this. There was a story where I think it was some African authorities went and closed down a barber shop, a Chinese barber shop, because the barber shop was not allowing the persons from that African nation to come there. They closed them down. You know what happened? A minister made the official go back and apologize, and he had to do it apologize to the Chinese and made them reopen the shop and had to do it publicly.
Okay, so
Please
First
don't
of all, the caller is not speaking about
do
Africa.
not-
He was making a point in relation
Yes.
to
I
St.
know,
Kitts, and I really wish you would let him finish
I know,
the call.
but larger
Jamster,
point.
let him finish.
Larger point. He doesn't want to go down this road with me
Jamster, it's
about
his,
Africa.
Yeah, but it's his opinion. I
Can you let
understand.
the caller finish, please?
Okay.
I understand your
Let's
bit.
take another one.
Are you done?
Okay.
Hello, caller. Let's take another one because
This is getting very heated.
Yeah. Hello, caller. Go right
Unnecessarily
ahead.
so.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, good morning.
Listen,
The disrespect is real. Go ahead, caller.
we are not here to disrespect anybody and what they have to say. But I think that we should be mature, and I'm not going to say educated, but I'm going to say intelligent enough to understand what is going on. Yes, I agree with the last caller. They come here and they are renting. I agree. It is contributing to somebody earning money. I agree. The local persons, we don't have to go inside the supermarket to shop. I agree. And I also agree with the female, your panelist there, not panelist, your hostess there, who said that if you're going to go in, you do not disrespect. I agree with that because I too have a problem with it. I prefer not to go in, right? And I also agree that we put our representative there, political representative there, to represent us. To represent us. Just like everybody else represent their own first and foremost. Right? But if you all think this thing is some sort of pie in the sky, and the way some people want to deal with this thing on a superficial, level, and you don't want to peel back the layers and go deeper, it's up to you. It's up to you. But I'm telling you, it's more than what you want to think. You hear these people flinging this thing around the place about xenophobia, whatever the word is. You all need to stop using that because I don't think you all understand what is happening. There is a lot of miseducation of our people, and today we're still reveling in this ignorance. Sometimes, people, we need to stop and listen. Go out and observe and read. Take into consideration other people's experiences. We have social media. It's opened up. A lot of things are there. Some of us are too myopic in our view. And it's not enough to come to say with somebody who is more in the know, that somebody must come and bring that down and under the guise of your opinion. Or it's your opinion. We need to listen. This is our problem with us as a people. We don't listen. And we think everybody outside there loves us, and we feel like God puts us here to be the shepherd and the caretaker and the breastfeeder to everybody, and they don't like us. The thing about it is, I'm not saying that we must go out there and get in problem with other people and whatsoever. But we have to study our own self. This is our problem.
Caller, could I ask a question?
Moving around the place without a shepherd, and everybody think they have a head.
Caller, could I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Yeah. What do you think that the Chinese are doing right now when it comes to St. Kitts and Nevis? What do you see them doing?
What I see them doing?
Mm-hmm.
You see how they're spreading their wings?
Okay, caller, be brief because we're just about ready to start. Go to Antigua for Vernon Springer.
Sorry?
I said, just be brief. I'll give you about 10 seconds. We're going to have to go to Vernon Springer.
Oh, Lord, I'm not hearing you well.
No, let's let her finish. Go
Okay,
ahead.
finish,
your
but be
point.
brief.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Go ahead.
Listen, this is what I am going to tell you will likely happen in the future. And I agree with Madam Hostess. Legislation has to be put in place because some of these things have to be reined in. What is going to happen? What I see, I'm not saying that anybody must take what I say. I'm not here to advise, instruct, try to encourage anybody to run with what I say. My own is to talk. You go and investigate it yourself. What I see happening, if they are here and then they are residents and then they are considered to be citizens, eventually what do you think is going to happen? They are going to soon start to own land. That piece of real estate done by the Bayfront, who owns it? Is it locally owned? Is it leased? Or was it sold to them?
Well, I don't think we know the information. I mean, we could assume, but unless we see the documentation ourselves, we are just assuming.
Right.
Okay. But we could stay here and walk and play ignorant. Children are going to be born to them. Here, they already happen.
Okay,
in time to come,
okay, caller, we're going to have to continue this.
What is going
I'm
to
so
bar them
sorry.
from
Caller.
running for seat?
This is such an interesting discussion.
Yes, we're going to have to continue
pick it
this.
up
We're going to
after
pick it up, okay?
our thing with
After
Vernon.
Vernon, we're going to pick it up because it's an interesting discussion.
So stay tuned. After the
Yes.
conversation
And we
with
welcome you to
Vernon,
call
we'll pick
back.
it up.
So you've joined,
Okay.
Garfield Alexander also has been appointed in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yes.
Also, OECS Education Ministers meet in St. John's. So, exciting times ahead. Excuse me.
Vernon, what's up?
Bless you, Vernon. Bless you. Good morning.
You're on the radio, Vernon.
Minister of Education, Honorable Darrell Matthew, will be able to outline his plans. As I say, good morning to my colleagues in St. Kitts and Nevis on the Digital Crossroads link up.
Yes.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. What's up?
Good morning. How are you, Vernon?
Well, I don't think that we are supposed to be linking up, since
Other
the
than
last
that little sneezing fit.
to find Trent and Jamster. It got me on the line for 25 minutes.
Oh my
Hey.
goodness.
Trust me, we had a very
No, we had-
heated discussion that I think they thought that it might have just lasted about a 10-15 minutes, but it really
It was a
went.
can of worms.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yes.
How have you been, though? We missed you last week.
It's been crazy. It's been real crazy because, a whole lot of sporting action have been taking place in Antigua and Barbuda. You had the St. Kitts Patriots who were in Antigua for a training camp, a development training camp. You had the Scotland team who were also here in Antigua and Barbuda. Then you had the Leeward Islands Hurricanes who were also in Antigua and Barbuda. And then you had the Cricket West Indies Under 15 Championship. That was won by the Trinidad and Tobago. Leeward Islands placed in 4th, Windward Islands placed in 3rd, and Ghana placed in 2nd in that competition. So it's been pretty busy. And as I speak to you right now, we have the Headley Week cricket series taking place at the Coolidge Cricket Ground. And also we have the Cool and Smooth T20 competition where we have players from Australia, from St. Kitts and Nevis, from Barbados, from Jamaica, from
I
all
can
around
tell you're
region.
in your element. This is
Real
right
house,
up your
yes,
alley.
yes, real house.
I can
'Cause
see him.
I remember him working here at Win FM and doing the sports. So I know
Yes.
this is right up your alley.
Yes.
You could see the joy
I was
beaming
just
from
thinking
his
the
words.
exact same
Yes.
thing, yeah.
Yes, yes.
But quickly, I want to congratulate all of the athletes from the OECS who participated in the just concluded Carifta Games. And I want to say to you guys that maybe everything is not perfect. Sometimes we beat up on each other in these small island countries. But when it comes to the level of organization that is being demonstrated, that comes out from us in the OECS when we host meets, what the action and all of the misorganization of the Carifta Games in the Bahamas. We don't get those things in St. Kitts and Nevis and in St. Lucia and
Hallelujah.
Grenada. The Carifta Games is going to Grenada next year. Grenada celebrating 50 years of independence. I just thought that it was unfortunate. And I've covered a number of Carifta Games to the point maybe about 15. It is the first time that I have ever seen anybody rerun a race.
I know.
Like Carifta. I've never seen that before. And I told you I've covered 15 Carifta Games. And what I saw, the level of organization coming out of the Bahamas, bemused me. You're talking about 50 years. I can't believe what we would have seen happening in 50 years. But they are so desperate to beat Jamaica that they would have done anything. I said to you guys, right? Once you hear track and field and hear Carifta Games, you know what's going to be happening, right? Jamaica is going to win, so we're thinking about who's going to come second.
Yeah, who's going to come
Right.
second?
On the-
It's
on the
like
medal
here
table-
in St. Kitts with Sandy Point High.
On the medal table, when you look overall of the medals that were won by the OECS, we placed 3rd overall on the medal table.
4th, actually, but still pretty good. 4th.
No.
No, he
On the
meant
medal
if you
table
combine
completed
all
the
the...
OECS, if you combine
Yeah.
all of the OECS
Really?
countries.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
okay.
In
okay.
the
Sorry.
entire overall scope of things,
Mm-hmm.
the OECS would have placed 3rd on the medal table. And so you understand the population of size. Jamaica, the Bahamas, they have more people than us, but they don't have more talent. They don't have more heart. So I want to congratulate all of the athletes. This one
Thank
for
you.
you.
We had two
But
of them
Vernon,
in here.
Vernon, you say if you put all the OSS together, right, we come 3rd, right?
Yes.
What other countries outside the OSS are there that played?
Trinidad and Jamaica.
Well, the Jamaica won.
Yeah, I know Jamaica
Bahamas came
won.
second.
And Trinidad
the
and
OECS
Tobago, I
combined
think
will come
was-
3rd, and we had Trinidad.
So we only would beat Trinidad then.
Trinidad.
Okay, I'm just putting it in perspective.
Trinidad, Barbados. Yeah, well, the big four. I don't have to tell you that. You know the big four. We're competing against the big four. Every time we do anything.
But
we are
let's
the match.
let's highlight St. Kitts and Nevis because if we don't put them together based on the medal count that has been up, we are in 4th position
Which
and
is still pretty good.
Which is still pretty good because
That's
we are
more than good. That's awesome.
So
Yes.
you could say that we carry the OECS.
Barbados was 5th. with less medals than
Considering
us.
all the things that were against us, all the
Yeah.
obstacles, I can't help but think about what Jalen's mental anguish what he went through just having to run that
Yeah.
race by himself.
So we acknowledge your point about the OECS, but we are delighted that St. and Nevis stood out even on its own when it comes to the medal count.
What was interesting last week, Vernon, is that just before the athletes, we had Delwyn Delaney here as well, the president, SKN Athletics president. Before Peter Jenkins came here on another matter, but before he started, he commented and congratulated the SKN Athletics on their success at the Carifta Games, but he also pointed out that he thought that a lot of the sporting brain trust in the country was not being tapped, and he thought that the government should organize some kind of consultation where the public can weigh in on how to build on this momentum that we achieved at the 2023 Carifta Games. So I thought he was on point when he said that, and it's definitely something we should do because this is something we have to build on.
So I think it's important, Jump, so that WINNFM leads on that, because if you're waiting for anybody else to get it done, it's not going to get done. So I charge you guys at WINNFM, to start the discussion. Maybe organize a special program that can generate something. But just quickly, just for you guys in St. Kitts and Nevis, the opening of the 8th meeting of the OECS Council of Ministers of Education is taking place right now, as you know, in Antigua and Barbuda, and the baton is going to be passed to St. Kitts and Nevis next round. So the Minister of Education, Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Jeffrey Hanley is also here in Antigua and Barbuda, and so they had presentations made by the University of the West Indies Five Island campus, as you know, which is being dubbed the OECS University, in terms of, having more students rather than going to Barbados, going to Jamaica, and going all over, coming to Antigua, which is a little bit more closer home, and getting yourselves organized. It's the cheapest university in the entire Eastern Caribbean and in the Caribbean for the meantime. And so we're generating some interest there. And just for another matter, for the folks in terms of what's happening, Social Security marks 50 years in Antigua and Barbuda. So
45 in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're going through reforms.
Right.
Discussions.
The University of the West Indies is also celebrating 75 years.
Yes.
Yeah. So there are a lot of things happening, exciting times ahead happening, really. And as you know, Carnival was launched in Antigua and Barbuda last Saturday. And I know St. Kitts Music Festival, it's buzzing with activity. I think the next time we come back on Azard and my lady friend, let's see if we can have somebody from St. Kitts Music Festival next week.
Oh, we
Thursday.
had
You
them.
missed us yesterday.
So
tell them about
We
that.
had the chairman
have to have
in
a
here
special link-up.
yesterday.
So I'll have somebody from Carnival.
Yeah, good.
Somebody from the St. Kitts Music
All
Festival.
right, then. It's a date. We'll plan
invite
it
them
for
back
you.
again.
Yes, we'll plan that for you. Vernon, I wanted to get your thoughts on that whole seizure of the yacht that occurred. I think it was last week in Antigua.
St. Martin.
No, there
The
was
one that
one
is
in
selling.
the yacht that
that is sold in Antigua, you mean?
the one that they seized. Have they sold it? Have they auctioned it? What's taking place with
I thought
that?
you meant the incident, the casualty.
You can send in your bid, it's still up.
That's why I'm asking, right?
She's ready
Hero.
to go.
Maybe your bid can go higher than 28 million. So I
You
feel
never
that's
know.
reserve money put somewhere.
So they already have it up for auction,
Yes, it's up for auction, and trust
still
me,
no one has claimed
hot on
it.
the market. It's hot on the market.
But what
what's
is the
price?
street saying?
What is the street?
What are the streets saying? Like how has that been received? Just walk us through like what really happened, because I heard it was there for like a year.
Yeah, it was there for a year, and the general procedure, you would have had to also make some overthrows, and I think the government of Antigua and Barbuda strategically would have gone about their business in a very way to be able to execute that, because you remember that this was Russian owned. Remember, United States of America had come up with a number of sanctions.
Right.
So I have to compliment the Attorney General of Antigua and Barbuda and his legal team to be able to execute the way they have executed. So, you will always hear grumbling on the ground. Everybody will be very much concerned. But I think the real main focus would have been on what would have happened between St. Kitts and Nevis with the the loss of lives during
Yes,
some of
that
those
is still
African-
ongoing.
yeah, it's still an ongoing process in terms of what's happening. Our condolences go to those folks and their families. But in a world where we live right now, you got to understand that people are going to be looking for a better life.
Always, but you know, Vernon, I saw that they're refusing to do a commission of inquiry as to what really took place, because people still want answers, but they're refusing to open a commission of inquiry. Did I get that correct? Is that what's happening?
But do commission of inquiries work?
Well, that remains to be seen.
I like that question.
Coming out of COVID, right? I don't know of any government of any institution who's going to find money, my dear, to be able to launch a commission of inquiry, because you know that is an expensive venture. Both Azard and yourself and Gumbs or whoever to get involved in a commission of inquiry, it takes time and it takes money.
So the main reason they're shutting it down is because of money, or
No. I never said that. I was just only just. in that
so
example.
what have they given reasons why then?
No, I think the government has just clearly just decided not to go down that road. But you will understand the opposition has their rights to be able to make a claim for it. But hey, in the interest of what is happening around, the government of Antigua and Barbuda has declared and already said what they have to say. And they don't feel that you really need to be able to have a commission of inquiry.
Right.
We don't have enough time this morning to talk about that, but I'll spend some time next week, 5 minutes, and
Vernon?
maybe get somebody on from the government
You
side.
have a call. You want to
get
just
their
take a
version
brief?
of it.
You wanna
That
take a
would be
brief
good.
call?
That
You wanna
would be
take a
good.
brief call, Vernon?
Hello?
You want to take a brief call? I'll make
If I
that
want to
brief.
take a brief call?
Yeah, we had some calls coming.
But you want to say something quickly?
Yeah, let me see. We had 2 calls. They just let's see if they call back. But
Okay.
I guess we were almost out of time. But
Yep. These are. If I got 3 minutes to
Okay.
go, so if the person calls back, that is okay.
Okay. You saying you're going to try to get someone in next week so that we could probably delve
Yeah,
some
but
more
well,
into it?
Yes, I will get some more aspect into that. I'll get some more details as to the reasoning. I
That
know
would be good. It's been an
the opposition
uproar
is the one
everywhere.
who has been calling for a commission of inquiry, and like I said, they have the divine right of being able to execute that. The government of the day are the ones who govern, and they will be the ones who will be able to decide whether or not, and they've already decided that they're not going to go down that road.
okay, here we go with the call. Caller,
Okay.
you're on the air for Vernon Springer. Point on the streets. Be brief. Go ahead.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, we need to call before the gentleman with the 40 days old right. What happened to us, right? We letting this thing get out of hand. We're not supposed to sell them the land, we're supposed to lease them. You see how the big one from St. Paul come up with a bread, they're doing to us in a bread, you know. You know, they go all of St. Paul will have these kind of thing about grocery. I don't know the first, it went Prime Minister before, Mr. Harris, I don't know what he was doing. But you know what happened? When we want to get money under the table, and that will be very bad. You
Caller?
want to get
Okay,
rich?
caller. Yeah,
Caller,
okay, caller.
let's
Okay.
call back, please. We're gonna conclude with Vernon, and then we could go into that discussion.
Vernon,
Take hold your point, okay?
Just briefly, we had a discussion this morning about the Chinese.
I had a feeling that persons were still calling for
yeah,
that.
so-
For
so,
that,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Vernon, go ahead. You can. Well, no, just tell me
Yeah.
about the VAT there. We have a VAT there on April 28th. A VAT
Yeah.
deduction
I
there.
recognize
Just to
that.
squeeze that in. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We see a lot of strange things happening. You guys seem to have a lot of money.
But it's being termed Easter VAT.
Yeah, reduced VAT day. It was first proposed for this Friday, but then due to
Public outcry.
yes, it was changed to the 28th. But it was a election promised by this administration during the campaign. So I think they said
They were trying to
Easter,
keep the
summer,
promise.
and December.
Days before Christmas, we're gonna have an.
Well,
more VAT days.
in their manifesto they said summer, so I'm looking to see where the summer one come in.
Maybe it's because children are going back to school. I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out the rationale.
Yeah, that might
So
make
so
sense.
let's wait for the summer one.
but then on school supplies VAT free. I mean,
Well, I can't recall
shoes
the
and
list.
stuff.
I
I
have
guess.
no
Yeah.
clue.
Okay.
I can't recall the list, and I don't like to say things when I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
have the facts. I'll remember the facts
Thank
in
you.
front of me.
Okay, Vernon, we give you the last word. It's 3 minutes after
Yeah,
9.
well, I think we also have to understand too that there was some powerful presentations made. Crime in the Caribbean, the Jamaican game.
We did discuss that during the show this week.
It's really a serious time right now, you know what I mean? And folks, you know, we can't just rest on our laurels. I think it's important for us really politically, non-politically, because a lot of people like to say, well, I'm not involved in politics, but we are the politicians. And if we keep quiet and we are silent, then you know what's going to be happening to our communities. When we see crime, we need to talk about it. You know what I mean? Because I think crimes affect everybody. So I think, you know, you got music festival coming up. You have Antigua and Barbuda Carnival coming up. You got St. Lucia Jazz Festival coming up. What do you think is going to happen when crime is on the rise? It means that, you know, passengers, folks are not going to travel. So we need to speak up when we see crime.
Or at least they'll think twice. Good point.
Agreed.
But it was indeed a pleasure speaking to you, Boda. You're sorry that we got on late again this morning, but next week we certainly will make sure that we touch base and we'll be on track.
Definitely,
no problem,
Vernon, and do enjoy the remainder of your week and your weekend.
Yeah.
Nice.
Coming up next is the Cabinet Press Briefing.
Okay, so 9:04, and that was Vernon Springer at Point FM in Antigua Point on the street.
Antigua is pretty busy.
I'm telling you.
Sports, cricket, carnival. You know, I like that we have our own thing going on and they have their own thing going on, because one of the things to keep in mind is that the tourism season has ended, because it's usually from October to April. So I see these as all ways to get persons to still come to the island.
Yeah,
you know, those persons who are into carnival, music. So one way or the other, we're bringing them back, because I think St. Lucia Jazz Festival is also coming up.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break. We get a word from Tapwater Caribbean, sponsors for this day part that's coming up. And then we come back, and man, the phones are going crazy. So when we come back, we're going to take some calls.
All right.
The South 98.9 FM.
Do you want to improve the quality of your water? Is buying bottled water costing you a fortune? Say no to bottled water and yes to Tapwater Caribbean and Espol Water Solutions. We offer eco-friendly filtration products such as our Ultra Filter or our Bottle Pro for at home or on the go. Fill up anywhere. We also have a Shower Pro designed to protect and give you healthy skin. Visit us today at tapwatercaribbean.com or on Facebook and Instagram. Let's drink clean, pure, healthy water together. Remember, go green, save money, and save our planet.
Stand by. Hey, and we're back. It's 7 minutes after 9 o'clock. I wanted to say that we're gonna start taking your calls, because it seems as though this topic kind of touched the nerve. But I want to point out one thing. The reason I cut off the caller was no one's gonna talk over me. That's one. Two, I think this idea that because people are paying rent, that doesn't absolve.
But James,
that doesn't. That doesn't.
I think
you started talking over him first.
Yes, but I mean,
why don't we let them make their point?
Let them make their point,
and then we can rebut.
And then we could speak after.
Because you do realize a caller called and actually. Tacitly agreed with what I was saying.
Yeah, and you realize that you allowed her to speak for almost 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, because Vernon wasn't ready.
The caller, he made his
that
point.
Wasn't agreeing with you,
and you tried to block him. So let's let everybody
Let's be fair, right?
Okay.
I mean, unless there's somebody cursing or attacking you outrightly, Yeah.
So
just
all
let them
views,
make their point
let them
and then we'll
express
go
their
from there.
views.
Okay, I'll turn off my tyrant chip.
Awesome.
Great.
Get some 420 in
Hey.
your system.
He needs that.
Big time.
Yeah, you need some gummies.
So he could so he could
could
calm
calm
down.
Baby, calm down.
Okay, we have a call. Caller, go right ahead. Hey, go right ahead.
Caller.
Greetings, Island T.
Hey, what's
Good
up?
morning.
Greetings.
Listen to me now. Jam says always scam, you know. Just a jam says who jam says, you know. I say who I say, but he's always scam. No worries.
I don't know. You should see him here. You can't see him.
No. I know him. I don't have to see him. I know him.
Yes.
You used to live right next to me.
Oh.
You know. It's just morning, you know.
Sorry, you cut
You
off.
know, before we go there, one of the artists on top of the upcoming music festival, Anthony, he sing a song say the damage has already done. And listen to me, man. This situation here, they are so serious that I think we need to stop talking about them when it don't happen, when they have to go to the gate, and put a stop into these things. Because we born yourself, and in the city 6832, and we cannot allow the city 6832 to just get out of our hands. So this morning we take a walk down Port Zante, and a piece of land, right next to where you enter to go up on the boat, then when you go St. Martin and Station and all them places there. It mark citizenship by investment for sale. And listen, them kind of land in them kind of place, them people from born and syndicate for own them things there. We're making some big mistake, and it don't cause a bam. Listen, we are talking about these things, I know. But it's a future generation, they're going to take things in their hand differently. Some people try to avoid them things, them kind of bam there. We cannot, watch a man. So, we don't say, you know, that the CBI thing, you know, for dash way, you know. It is negative. We just have what the little crumbs them what come from it. Even though there are millions, them is still crumbs. We are people that come from a continent and know wealth. We know wealth. We just are born for these marbles. In this scrabbling for scarce benefits and spoil. And allow these people who we put in power. And it's our what? It's our exes put them there. Past and present administration. And we for run things as a people. And listen, it is time that we stop talk. It is time that we act. It is time that we act. Blessed love.
Thank you. Thank you for your call.
I was trying to get from him what he said. The sign said citizenship by investment and it's for sale.
For sale, yeah.
But who is it for sale to? Like, is anybody open to buying it? Because a local can buy it if it's up for sale.
Exactly.
So it's not necessarily being sold. Or is it saying only persons who want to gain citizenship by investment can buy it? Like, I'm curious now as to what the sign says.
Because then that would be like unequal
opportunity.
treatment. Yeah, because I'm inferring from
but who
what he
is the
said the
person
sign said.
selling the land as well?
Right.
Because who owns the plot? Because whoever owns it is entitled to sell it to whoever they want. But I just want to know what the sign says,
Because
like in detail.
I'm inferring from what he said that the sign says is that
Citizenship
somehow,
by investment
yeah,
up
so
for
that means
sale.
if a citizen wanted to buy it, that they
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's what
I was going to ask, but you know, I didn't want to stop him while he was so passionate.
Island T, caller, go right ahead.
Hello, me again. The guy is so true. Yeah, and what I see I went down below, going to the west, below Best Buy, they are going over there. Behind, going on Manhattan Garden. There's a big building down there. And I asked who it is. And you wouldn't believe who it is. Huh? What were they're selling us out, country? The guy just said they're selling us out.
Who owns the building that you saw?
Who owns it? The tiny building, it. I asked what going there. You look in a supermarket shape, you look in a warehouse shape. Somebody say it's a building to do, what you call it, guest houses. Remember they done jam one in town there, which it wasn't supposed to be, you know. facing the social security. This thing is not right. It's not for me. The fellow who just talked and the lady in the country, my teacher lady, that's what we're saying. We're seeing it. And it ain't right for them to want to get no license to go all in the little neighborhood and put up anything about supermarket. I'm too frightened with it for years. Me born with it down and all. I've been big since me's a baby. I mean, me 70s now.
Carlo. Could I ask you a question?
Yes.
Yes. So your issue is that Chinese persons of Chinese descent are coming into the country and opening solo shops?
Yes, all over. It's not right. All up here by me right now.
Have you ever been in one of those?
I got a little business downtown, and because they start to sell everything I was selling, I went drop in.
Okay.
We doing it be up by the terminal 3 for 10. They're up there getting it, they do it 3 for 10. The same place of facing the social security and all, because we ain't got nobody to look for us. And to the guy, my friend just said, oh, Eli, they just want people in election to come and give sweet talk. Okay. And we running, believing them, and then we're going by them. They're selling us out. I said, they take, when last you drive to the country. Everywhere you go up here, suppose we got a supermarket now. These development area, I think they say, you wasn't supposed to put down no shops up here. You go to the big supermarket like Best Buy down here and buy what you want. You hear? Let everybody get a feedback and go another jam. One of these days, you'll see another one coming up, maybe bigger than that one up here,
Okay, caller.
Okay,
caller.
But so caller, you there?
Okay, caller. We have
other callers.
Yes, we have another call.
Okay.
But a
Thank you
caller.
so much for your contribution.
A person. Okay, so I have the
We
Dwyer.
lost that one.
Yeah, I was thinking we should play the Dwyer because it would better inform the discussion and seeing that the whole thing we're talking about was kicked off by what I heard from Dwyer and what someone told me he was talking about. So.
As it relates to what we're terming local, is it all truly
because
local?
I asked her what it is that the Chinese doing, and she said they're selling the same thing 3 for 10. But is it that it's competition at the end of the day?
Of course.
And it could have been, let's take out the race out of it, it could have been another local doing the same thing. Would that have been an issue if it was another local
that's my question,
doing
right?
the same thing?
Because
but let's put that in context, though. You have to remember that because these people receive highly concessionary loans and funding from the Chinese government, they do loss leading. I don't know what that is in retail science.
So then it comes back
they
to
can
exactly
sell things
what we're
at
saying.
a loss to
we
kill.
need to approach our government that should put legislation in place to put us in a better place instead of taking it out on a specific race or ethnicity.
Then it should be that government may have to create policies that would assist locals.
And that's what we've been lobbying for, duty-free concessions for small businesses and that type of stuff, duty-free concession for creatives. It is us. We are the ones that need to realize what's happening and approach it in the correct way. Approach the persons that are responsible for this. If their government is giving them loans that is putting them in an advantageous position, then we need to go to our government to put us in an advantageous position, as opposed to saying, they're bringing the stuff in and they're selling it cheap. Listen, the Chinese sell balloons. I sell balloons. Should I start a whole thing against them saying that they sell their balloons cheaper than I do? No, I need to find a way now to beat out the competition. I need to get creative. So I'm not going to take it out on them. They sell a lot of stuff that I sell. I sell party supplies. They sell party supplies. So what am I supposed to do about that?
Because at the end of the day, competition would always exist. And if we are supposed to better ourselves, there would always be that competition.
Well, let's listen to Dwyer, because there's some other issues which, when the one thing that someone that's why I WhatsApped him last. I said, Dwyer, could you send me a commentary? Because there was one issue that we still haven't touched on. We touched on it.
Let's listen, Dwyer. I've listened to it, but let's listen to him.
Greetings.
How long is it?
So,
what is going on?
How long was it, Jam? So was it 11 minutes?
It's 17 minutes.
Hey,
Oh, see,
it's pretty long.
That's a long jam, so.
Um,
That's almost a whole segment in the show.
I know.
I just realized there seems to be some kind of. I could play it from my phone,
But the entire
know.
thing would take us
yeah.
way into the time for close to 10.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do? I don't
Do
understand.
bits and pieces
Can't
if
you
you
do
want.
bits
Yeah,
and pieces?
that's what I'm gonna. So I have to
Yeah.
listen to it.
Yeah.
Drink it in, and then chop it up, and
Yeah.
then contextualize each one, and then play
Yeah.
it, have a discussion, play another.
You know,
part.
I'm happy you said there's always competition. I remember when I opened my business, there were just like 5 other companies doing event planning, decor, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And in that space of time, at least 20 have come on the scene.
And we still
What
have
am I
we
supposed
still have
to
a
do? Shut
Christmas
it-
tree.
shut
over,
it down?
We still have an April Christmas tree over here. So callers, keep the calls coming. We'll take your calls now. We were gonna play Dwyer's thing, but I have noticed is that this issue has developed where when I play clips, there's this weird sound which must
Well,
be.
let's take a call while you figure it out.
Yeah. No, I'm not. We're not gonna play it now because that might be an issue. Caller, go right ahead.
Yes, good morning, folks.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, listening to the discussions this morning, I couldn't help but recall one of Neil Tyson's interviews when he referred to an astronaut in space who observed that from that vantage point, there are no borders, right? All you can see is a little sphere of land and sea and clouds, and in the general scheme of things, we really are nothing. You know, we don't even come off as a star in the universe. If we disappear, no one would notice except perhaps us. And so the bigger picture here is to make sure that we preserve our little bubble, our little earth, and our species, and the species there, right? Hence, the big issues really should be about things like climate change, global warming, world peace, and the like, okay? So that we don't disappear, we don't kill ourselves. Now, coming back to Earth, we must accept that borders are artificial creations. Migration has always been, you know, a phenomenon, and it will continue. It can't be stopped. It just can't. And we should rely on the traditional balancing stuff, whether it be the laws or government, you know, and even wars, believe it or not, because in the fire analysis that balance things as well, all right? We should rely on those to get some kind of steady state where we are preserved. You know, everybody exists or coexists.
Okay, we have
right?
another call.
And if the pendulum swings too far, we can bet your life that, you know, they will kick in and make sure everything is okay again.
Agreed.
Okay.
I wouldn't get too hot under the collar.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for that. I
Okay,
like
Colin.
his analogy.
Yeah,
The
yeah, I
pendulum
thought so
swings.
too. Okay, that person hung up. Which is why it's sometimes it's key to get people to be brief, because a lot of times when people call, then
I don't think you'll be able to catch all.
Yeah,
No matter how brief you let them
and it
go.
times out. Okay, caller, go right ahead. Island T.
Hey, Jamster.
Hey.
I want to get in this very quickly because it's a serious thing. The kingdom of Port Zante, the boy the land, we don't make a big mistake. When we reclaim the 45 acres down there, we was to send the drive, no selling, you lease. But anyway, Jamster, quickly, I want to talk about the eastern side, like over by you, when you're coming out at the eastern side, coming to Port Zante. We are the cleaning a piece of land, saying parking. Nothing wrong with the investment to make a little money because we're going into hard times now. The season went off, the port got to make money. But he have a set of sand was over there. He placed there from Mr. Matalan, Johnny and his father. The reason for the bulk of sand over there, where the people had the stuff when they were building the new patches field, is that when we have hurricane, you have a surge that take the sand from underneath and some big holes of the various places on the port. And a see them moving the sun. Do not move the sun. Clean up the top of the sun and leave the sun. The sun place there that when we get major hurricane in June, go back to October, the sun there to full up the whole them. And I don't understand why the building board allowing it. They kind of work with them. They work with Mr. Philip. If this new board, who you send them, they don't know. They come to the farmer manager and Mr. Ezel, Monkey Bob locally. These guys know they could even call patches. And I asked him a question, realist petition, done with this tit for tat stupidness. The country is benefiting nothing with this tit for tat in the Jumbie. Let me do better than that. We could do better than that. When I see the cleaning over there, then he will come and ask me, who know more about down there than any one of them. Then he will come and ask me a question. Me and Mr. Matalan, Johnny, all of them, the other night he called me from Mexico. Wishing me well. He said he didn't hear my voice for a long time. These people just doing as they like, they don't care. I see some problem to come in. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.
Same to you.
Okay. Keep your calls coming on the discussion. It's 9:24. You guys want us to take a quick break and then come back? So at least we have a call. So let's take this. Caller, go right ahead.
Good morning, lady. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to say, you look like you open my can of worms for today, but
yes.
it's okay. Discussion and speaking
And
about
you never know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's true. But one of the things that I observed while listening the conversation and the back and forth this morning, that people must try to understand that if an individual feels threatened, he will react. And one of the causes of the war today with Russia and Ukraine is because of threat. And when somebody feels threatened physically, financially, romantically, they react. Some people, you give them a slap, they're going to probably slap you back, or they might box you, or they might not do anything. They might just take it easy and hope for some other day. But if your social income and welfare being threatened, you will react. And most people react verbally.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I said that to say this. When you feel that your home and your area being threatened, you're going to react. Some people react emotionally. Some people bawl out and make a lot of noise. Some people do it quietly. But a professional, somebody who really coming to get you, not going to make any noise.
Yeah.
He's going to be one of the most friendliest person to you, nice and bowing to you. And Kitishon, most West Indians don't have that ability to understand that the person who's making a lot of noise with you, that's not the person you worry about. You worry the one who is quiet. And the one who is quiet is slowly moving things from under you, slowly shutting down the mom and the pop shop. Somebody say you don't have to go in there buy, you don't have to do this. There are a lot of things you don't have to do. But at the end of the day, we will either benefit with the reward or suffer the consequence of our consciousness, and we have to do something before something happens to us.
Carlo,
thank you very much.
Before you go, could I ask you a question? Because I like your reasoning on both sides. The Chinese, because the issues here seem to be the fact that it's the Chinese that come and open up business. What happened if, look at the Chinese businesses, what they're doing. Let's take out what we see them, in terms of nationality or in terms of descent. And let's say that somebody is, like us, who are doing the same thing. Do you think that it will make a difference? That you see that those persons are taking over?
What are the help? You see, I'll answer the question in this way.
Mm-hmm.
What are the help that and the encouragement that we are giving each other? How do we prop up each other?
Mm-hmm.
I understand that the government that we elect by the people is supposed to be for the people.
Mm-hmm.
And our expectation for the people is to defend and protect us.
Yeah.
Because we make them our trustee. Well, the word is trustee, but they become our trustee. And we expect hells and devils from them. And so we relax and say, don't worry, we government going to look after that. But they so busy look after themselves, they can't even look after us.
Because I asked the question because the Chinese, and I'm not looking at the large development because a lot of persons are talking about the Chinese little shops and stuff like that. A lot of these shops, they provide the citizens of St. Nevis with goods. A lot of persons, well, I see a few of them employ locals.
They're required by government to employ.
But majority, I won't personally, I won't touch employment. I'll focus on the goods that we get. Many of the times when I look at where they are located, they're located in private areas. So my assumption is, because I don't see the paperwork, I am assuming that they're renting. Because if you look at the way where they are, it's obvious, it seems more likely than not that they're renting. So a local is getting that income in terms of rent. Because I know persons who rent to the Chinese as well, locals. So they're getting business from that. So the competition would be there. If it's not them per se, it probably would be somebody else. So is it that we are not, as a people, seeing the opportunities out there, coming together and going forward with those opportunities? Because let's say they're not there. Is it that what we are producing, is of a good standard that would meet our needs if they're not there?
When you say someone like us, what do you mean? Like
from the
Caribbean?
From the Caribbean. That, because you know why? You a fella look like you like to stop things.
No, I'm not trying to stop.
I didn't say it maliciously. No.
I don't like to stop things. I like to invoke thoughts.
No, it's okay to stop because you know what? You know what? They rent from our people. But do you know where the money is coming from to pay our people for the rent? Our people, because we're the one who buy from them, and whoever buys pays the rent and pay the cost of living, pay the electricity. Okay. Once you do business with a business place, you are the one who carrying the weight. You are the consumer. Yeah, and so it ain't to say, even though they get a loan to stock the goods, that rent and all the costs are introduced in the items of which they sell.
Yeah, and
so once they introduce those costs
at the same day,
so what factored into the goods that they sell, the consumer is actually paying not directly but indirectly.
Okay, so
because nobody gonna open my business to pay you and pay rent and all of that. And you have to take up all the costs.
Who are the consumers? We are the consumers.
Okay,
let's stop.
Chinese don't buy from them.
Okay, so stop. So we are the consumers, right? Are we forced to buy there? Are they saying come and buy or else? We consume.
You have what you call convenience, and advertisement, and ready availability. You want something now? They are the only ones who open because they have put themselves in a position to close out all the local business.
But caller, isn't it
not of a choice?
Caller, quick
you
question.
Don't have much choice. The mom and pop shops are closed. They can't open on Sunday because they say the rum shop, he can't do this and he can't do that. But they open every day. They don't even recognize the public holidays.
But quick question though.
Religiously, they don't recognize those.
Caller, quick question. The same scenario that you just described where, convenience and consumers and whatever, isn't it the same for the TDCs, the Horsford, and even a mom and pop shop? They have what we want. We go in and we buy it. The mom and pop shop might be renting from someone as well. So by us buying from them, we're also paying the rent, and they're making a profit. So what's the difference?
You say the same thing over again. We agree to that.
But I'm asking what the difference is.
And I don't want.
The difference is that you and I are the same. They and I. They will never be Kittitian. They always will be Chinese.
Okay, you see that I think is what
that's the issue.
We're seeing. We don't see persons. We have as this people against them. Yeah. I'm not saying that we're not supposed to support our own. I'm not saying that we shouldn't.
What are the contributions to our society?
They have made it easy. They have
contribute to our education, unless they're going to work close to one of our top people to get what they want.
But Carla,
their
contribution is that they offer you convenience, so you go into their shops and you purchase because it's convenient to you. I'm sure
So
you have
Are you saying that our people couldn't do the same thing?
I'm not
We
saying.
can bring somebody from China to track us there?
I'm not saying that our people couldn't do the same thing, but are our people doing the same thing? That's the question.
Are they getting the opportunity to do so?
And if they're not
available,
if they're
can
not,
they get a loan?
if they're not,
if they get a loan, will our people support them?
Why not?
and they're in like, and okay then, and they're like, okay. Let me so therein lies the problem. If they get a loan, are our people supporting our own people? So the problem is not that they are opening a shop, but are we supporting our own? That there lies in the problem.
And I think he
and
just said no.
That's lies here. One of the biggest problems, because remember,
that cannot be legislated. That cannot be legislated.
So then it comes back to us. We hold the power.
So ultimately, the issue isn't the Chinese coming here. The issue is us not doing enough supporting each other
to support our own.
Support our own.
Why can't it be both? Why can't it be the issue the Chinese coming here and us not supporting each other?
But even if they weren't here.
Two things I'm going to say before I get off the line.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time when all shops were closed on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
We do without it. There was a time when segregation was big in the United States. Blacks survived. We had our own education, our own school system. We had our own banks and everything. And from the moment the people united, they take the black teachers and put them to teach the white students, and put the dummies teachers to put the black children, and everything changed for us. And you know, something we think we have a right, we have not a right. We will never be recognized. And so therefore we have to unite and come together to carry ourselves as a people.
And that is
until we see ourselves as a people and give ourselves our own respect and respect each other as for who they are and not who we think they should be, we cannot reach practically anywhere. And the politicians then fall in the group because they just and a happy go ride it.
Okay, Carl, I love how you made that conclusion.
To protect the people, because I can ask the lady there, I'm sure right now they have a Guyana association in St. Kitts. They have a Jamaica association, and they do meet and they do bring the things to the table, and they put the best Guyana forward to bring their challenges, effort together. Kittitian don't have an association. Kittitian don't have that facility. They do. They buy and they shop and they trade among themselves. You'll be surprised to know the things they do out of their country, what they don't do here, what they don't do there. They more unite here than when they unite here in Guyana or some other country. And it's a fact. I think I have said enough.
Okay.
Thank you for your contribution.
Okay, 9:35. Let's take a quick break. We're got to hear from Tapwater Caribbean and Rams.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Do you want to improve the quality of your water? Is buying bottled water costing you a fortune? Say no to bottled water and yes to Tapwater Caribbean and Espol Water Solutions. We offer eco-friendly filtration products such as our Ultra Filter or our Bottle Pro for at home or on the go. Fill up anywhere. We also have a Shower Pro designed to protect and give you healthy skin. Visit us today at tapwatercaribbean.com or on Facebook and Instagram. Let's drink clean, pure, healthy water together. Remember, go green, save money, and save our planet.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9 Win FM.
Sardine have a new vibe. Brunswick sardine have a new. Brunswick sardine fillet. It have a new vibe. You hear what me say? Run go to your favorite supermarket or corner shop and grab a couple things today. Cause this a sitting where everybody a go like. Brunswick sardine have a new vibe. 5 different flavors for you to try. Brunswick sardine have a new vibe. Plus it boneless. Oh yes, that's right. Brunswick sardine have a new vibe. Packed with nutrition in every bite. It tastes nice. Brunswick sardine have a new vibe.
Hey kids, drink healthy.
Reduce sugar chubby with the same great taste. Lots of magic fruity flavors. Drink the more healthy way.
It tastes so yummy, chubby, chubby.
25% less sugar chubby. Be active, be healthy. Drink lots of chubby. Kicking football, playing cricket, having fun in the sun.
It's chubby.
Reduce chubby, jumping rope, running races, have fun.
It tastes so yummy, chummy.
Drink the more healthy way.
And I'm not
9:38. Man, I just want to let that. I just want to let that beat breathe for like.
It's a nice beat though. Who is it?
That's from Pumpa.
Oh,
From
really?
his song A-List.
That's nice.
A nice beat.
Actually,
yeah.
I told him to send it to me yesterday.
Just the beat?
Yeah,
Or the
because
song?
he had sent the song, but I told him I need the instrumental.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I got
The beat is
yesterday
pretty
afternoon,
catchy.
yeah.
It is.
You know who Pumpa is, right?
I do.
Yeah, okay.
I like music, you know, just as much as you do.
Okay. All right. Man, let's talk about the
Yeah.
let's talk about the aliens now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. let's go to the phone line.
Yes, callers.
Hey, call. Okay, that person
We
hung up.
lost it.
No, you see the rub
But you
is,
see, that caller made a good point, you know.
Yeah.
We close up on Sundays. We don't open on Sundays. The Chinese open every day. Best Buy opens 24/7. Do they still do that?
Well, I think since COVID that might have changed.
Right, but Best Buy was open 24/7.
Yeah,
I remember
they changed
leaving
that, yeah.
an event at 11 and being able to go to Best Buy, pick up stuff
Yeah.
so that I wouldn't
You
have to
see,
come
I
back
used
to
to
the
love
house
that. I
tomorrow.
used to deliberately do that because
Right?
I love being
and
in
it's
the
less
store.
persons in the
2
store at that
o'clock,
point in time, and it
bothering
was
you.
so convenient.
Yeah.
So it's a choice. We
And
have a
this-
choice.
Yeah, and this is my thing. Our country is open. Once you come here legally, you live here. You are expected to work here. I mean, at the end
And
of the
pay
day,
taxes.
and pay taxes. So at the end of the day, if you're going to live here, you must have some sort of income to support yourself, or else you become a burden on the state. So we have persons coming in here. They have opened businesses because they have to support themselves. Makes no sense to be here and not on the streets, and you become a burden on the state. So they have provided income. They have provided services to our country. As the caller was saying, I don't like to the word that he used.
But you know
with
something,
instigate,
to
but it's just
your
to provoke
point, Azard,
conversation.
when you come in or when you go to any country,
Yeah.
at immigration, they stop you, they ask you, where you going? Where you coming from? And if you tell them you're coming here to spend a certain amount of time, you have to show proof that you're able to take care of yourself and you're not, like
and
you
these
said, gonna be
individuals-
a burden on the state.
Yeah, and you would have to apply for the various permits, the work permit and everything.
Even for
and show-
persons
yeah.
who apply for citizenship, they have to show that, one, they have the money to pay the government, two, they
We
have
have
the
a
money to
caller.
pay the developer, and they're not going to be a burden on the state. So, I think we have systems in place. Maybe
Are you-
they just need tightening.
Yeah, and when she says citizenship,
Hi,
I
caller.
think you mean economic citizenship.
Yes,
yeah.
economic citizenship.
Hi, caller. Go right ahead.
Hello.
I'm back again.
Yes. I like how she come.
Yeah.
I like how she
Again.
come like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'm back again.
Welcome back.
All of this, what is going on, right?
Yes.
It is good. It is good. Brain
is
exercise
good.
and all of that. It helps us to relax and exhale. And inhale deeply.
Yes.
But, Madam, you just mentioned something there that you tie yourself up,
Let me hear.
You talk about Best Buy opening 24/7,
7.
let's so to speak. But go back to what you said earlier about the Chinese and people complaining and about their prices and so on. And whatever. And you talk about your business when you open it and others came in and, what were you supposed to do? Do whatever you have to do to be competitive. So when the Chinese came and they started opening 7 days per week, don't you see that just what you said about yourself, don't you see that Best Buy did the same thing too?
And I'm not shooting them
To
down.
remain competitive also. So they not only open 7 days, but they open 24/7.
You know that I
you-
work
It's
7 days a week,
indirect.
right? I also work 7 days a week.
Sorry?
I also work 7 days a week. So, I don't see how you're saying that I tied myself up, because everybody has a choice. If you don't want to work Saturdays and Sundays, it's totally up to you. But for me, as long as the customer calls me, I'm working.
But caller, you know what?
Madam, you misunderstood what I said.
Okay, go ahead again.
You misunderstood what I said. I'm talking about you use Best Buy as an example. We are looking at Best Buy and the Chinese, right? When the Chinese came, they started opening up 7 days per week. All right? Normal businesses were closed. Monday to Saturday they work. Sunday they close. When the Chinese came, they changed that. Best Buy, before the Chinese, they never open on a Sunday. After the Chinese, to remain competitive, Best Buy did what they had to do. So it's along the line with what you said, to remain competitive.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about.
So, but
that doesn't mean that...
Carla, let me ask you a question. You don't think competition is good?
No, but I'm waiting for
I'm
her
not
to make
saying
the point where she
competition is
said
not
I tied
good.
myself up, because I'm waiting for her to make that point.
Okay. Candy's waiting for you to make the point where she tied herself up.
Huh?
You said I tied myself up, so continue, expound.
Yes, because you said, right, persons need to do what they have to do to remain in the market. And I'm going to put it in my own words. To remain in the market, to remain competitive. Okay, for example, if the Chinese has a price that might be lower than yours, you said instead of dropping out of the market, you do what you have to do to stay in, right? So when you came after, how many minutes after, you brought in Best Buy as an example where you say, well, don't they open 24/7? And the back, that somebody was saying that you said that the person said that open on holidays and all of that. So I am saying, in response probably to the Chinese opening up 7 days per week, where the others were closed, Best Buy, to me, I think they have looked at that also and strategized and said, you know what? We're not only going to open 7 days per week, but let us do it around the clock. So to me, that is in direct response in terms of competition to keep up with the Chinese.
But
So
Carla,
that's why I say
Carla, wouldn't you say that even if it is a response to keep up with the Chinese, wouldn't you say that that benefits the
It's
citizens
a
of
good
St.
thing,
Kitts and
and they're
Nevis?
considered local.
Wouldn't you say that benefits
if it benefits who?
the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis?
If it benefits them?
Yes, benefits us.
I don't know how to answer that.
Because
but
right?
isn't Best Buy
Because
considered local?
Before they had open on a Sunday, or open, in the case of Best Buy, in the night, we knew, before the Chinese came to, we knew that the shop would be closed on these days. So people prepared ahead of time, and they bought what they wanted to buy. There was no problem when the shops were closed down on a Sunday.
But because they were used to one thing. But with the advance, and you know, we advance, we could change
And
because we are
evolve,
human beings. And I really would prefer access to amenities, access to resources 24/7 if possible, rather than to have some place closed at 5. If there's a 24-hour, I would appreciate that, because sometimes I don't know, situations arise and you're wondering, what can you do? For example, the 24-hour gas station. I think that's a brilliant idea, because at the end of the day, you don't know what situation is going to happen. You don't know what emergency is going to happen, but you know that you can get gas at this location at any time.
Yes, I agree, but I was not speaking about the convenience or lack thereof of the 24-hour service provided. I wasn't speaking to that.
You were speaking
I was
to what
looking
then?
at it from a competitive angle between the Chinese and how someone counteracted that to remain competitive. Instead of closing down and the Chinese getting all the business on a Sunday, they open up too. Rams open up on a Sunday too.
And that's a good thing.
Is that a bad thing?
That's a good
This
thing.
is what I am saying. Persons have looked what has happened, and they have found ways to remain competitive.
As they should.
That was my point.
That's my point.
Okay, good.
I am not
hold
against
on.
the...
But hold on, Carla.
Hello?
One of the reasons why I brought up Best Buy is because I wanted to show that locals can compete on the same level as the Chinese and in the same arena, right? So that's the reason why I brought up Best Buy, because we were saying that, okay, the Chinese open 7 days a week. And so I brought up Best Buy to show that locals are doing it and can do it. So I'm a little bit confused as to where you said I tied myself up.
That's not how I understand it. I understood
But that's
it
exactly what I brought it up to
from
say.
how you mentioned it on the backdrop of what the last caller said. That's not how I understood it.
The last
But
caller
let me to
said
move on.
the last caller said that locals don't support locals, and that some of us need to get up and go and do it. So my point was Best Buy is open 24/7. I'm not sure if they still do it.
It was in connection with the Chinese, right? It was go and replace. Anyways, let us move on, if you don't mind.
Sure.
No, it is said something that the last caller mentioned that I agreed with, because I think we are missing the point, you see? And let me say here, the danger is not in the roar of the lion, but it is in the silence of the lion. And I don't think we have, well, when I say we in general, because I know some persons, they're already up to par and they know what is going on, you know, what is happening around us and so on, okay? Many people are up to par, but sad to say, we would like others to be up.
Yeah.
Okay.
We ain't realize what is really happening. While we sitting here looking to and listening out for a roar, we don't understand the silence is what is the danger to a lot of us. And we have, many of us have this mentality of the frog that is put in the pot with the water.
Yes.
When the temperature of the water
Thank
starts
you, caller.
increasing.
Thank you.
Right?
Very good point.
It adjusts its body temperature to suit the water until it is too late.
So,
if, even the Bible tells you, if someone is going to come to take over a household, they are going to strategize first to see, or first of all, they're going to find out who is the strong man in that household. And they're going to strategize to see how they can first find the stronghold. And then, once that stronghold is bound, they can always wreak havoc in that home. The problem with us as a people, we think that we are here to push everybody else's interest, look after everybody's interest, speak on everybody else's behalf, and we have nothing to say about our own. And when we come up and we say something, it's always our own that always is there to contradict and tear down and conflict and all of these things. You understand? We are not getting anywhere. Okay? In 2019, when they had the concert here, and I'm going to cut it short with that thing there, a lady and I from Canada was speaking, and she said, when she came here and she saw Chinese stores, supermarkets open, and she saw how our people go in and buy, she said she was shocked. Because in Canada, Chinese do not support black businesses. And not only the Chinese, she said everybody else do not support black businesses. They say black people do not support black people in Canada. That's it for them, because nobody else supports them, right? Well, I understand that. She don't have to tell me. I live up in the north for quite a while, so I am exposed to a lot of these things. So when I speak, I know where I am coming from.
But Carla,
we do not see impending danger. And finally, before I go, thank you for thing. But finally, before I go, we talk about the future. I talk about the future and bam bam and all of that. Listen, let me tell you something. They're strategizing for the future too. Why do you think when the ships come in, you have a lot of our young males, especially, some of them who don't want to work and all of that, they are enticed into homosexuality. Do you think that happens just so? You emasculate the strong man. When he don't want to be with a woman, the population gone down. All of this mixing, that is another strategy. You understand? And the food that we eat, the vaccine or the medicine that is given. I have never seen a group of people right now here that is so dumbed down. I don't know if you all are seeing it, right? I don't know if you all are seeing it, but I'm seeing it. A lot of our young males, strong men.
Carla, thank you.
We're going to give someone else
we acknowledge your point. We love that you called in again. But we're going to give somebody else an opportunity. We want to say thank you for your contribution.
Thank you so much for calling.
No problem.
Have a good one today.
All right.
Yes.
I think one of the things is that a lot of the arguments, the pro-Chinese arguments, are specious, right? Because we're saying, oh, well, they're paying rent to locals, and, well, the locals can do the same things to compete. But No, those arguments.
Why? What?
I'm
No,
really-
but Johnson, I want
There's
I
a
want to
caller.
pick your brain.
There's a caller. Let's take the call. 'Cause this stuff.
Hello, good morning.
This stuff
Hello,
really
good
bugs me,
morning.
Yeah. Caller, go right ahead.
Yeah. Yes, greetings.
Greetings.
Morning.
Hello. Black people, what I find, we mentally break down, trust me, with bag. I know our problem, we like to see each other fail. Don't care much shop we can open, you think, is as black people. We got to mentally erase ourselves. We got to try and go back in a school class and try to get black people understand. But in school, the youths them, that we got to stick together. The problem we as a race, because we can't, and we trying them, we trying them set an example for us to follow. We can't call them down there, not in our way. It's we in our own way. You check? We got to mentally erase ourselves and come to respect each other. System, legend, I play sports and all, and people want to see me fail. Hey, look how we play. Hey, look good. Amanda calling the radio, call people dumb, this, that, because how you speak. All of us need to learn and respect, and mentally, we got to come again. Because it's a mental breakdown for us black people. You know what I mean? We got problems seriously, a mental one.
Yeah, so the issue isn't others, the issue is ourselves.
It's not here.
Thank you so much for your call. And I think that's what I was trying to say. That is what I was trying to say.
And then
we are our own worst enemy.
Yeah, and the thing about
if
it
you
too,
feel that they're doing something and putting them at an advantage, who's stopping you from doing the same thing?
exactly, and the thing about it, with the point, competition.
Will always exist.
It would always exist,
there's
and
a
it enhances society.
Exactly. Because it's going to push you to do more.
Yeah.
And to extend the point, we are our own enemies, especially our politicians. Our politicians don't like us because the people who set this thing in motion, they need to pay. I'm sorry.
We have a call?
Yeah.
Hello, good morning.
Caller,
lost
go
it?
right ahead. Caller, go right ahead.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Mr. Johnson. Good morning.
Hey.
This is Mr. Dyer. I want to tell you, right, I'm very disappointed with you this morning. But anyhow, you say what you had to say, and let us move on from there. Why is it that we always crying down the Chinese, and we still getting there to buy?
Point.
I don't.
It doesn't make no sense, because
I
when the
don't.
other supermarket them closed and the Chinese open, where are you going to buy the thing that you want in your house?
Another specious
When you want
argument. But go ahead.
butter.
Johnson,
you
let
want
him
this,
speak.
You're going to the Chinese supermarket to buy them. Rams closed at 8. Best Buy them closed, Valdemar closed at 8. Well, I don't know about the one down in the west. And the gas station open at 24/7. Rams is building a mall down there in west. We expect they have the supermarket. Rams have a supermarket down west. People don't speak about it. They have one at Boardwalk. But the author speaking about the Chinese, what do the Chinese do our people in this country? And we are going here to buy. And that's a question I'd like somebody to answer.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, they're offering us a service. They're
We
offering
should be
us
glad that
a
we have people,
service.
the Chinese them came and opened up a lot of people, a lot of supermarket eyes.
He does have a point.
And they have
When
him.
they didn't
And
used to open, and Sundays, the opening.
So
Rams
we-
opening one.
so we have great accessibility as well because of it, because of competition.
Competition, right? And we need competition. And we not need to come and ball down
Right.
the
Nobody
Chinese them.
forcing us to go in
And we
these
still going in
stores.
here to buy. It doesn't make no sense.
Exactly.
And the thing about it, what I think sometimes, and I'm pro Kittition, pro Nibijan, I'm Kittition. You understand? But the thing about it, we have to go beyond sometimes just the norm. We can't just say because I'm Kittition.
Exactly.
you're
You're not
gonna come to
entitled
me.
to anything. You gotta work
You
for
have to
it.
work. So not because I'm a Kittition and I open a shop means that you have to come in there. At the
Because
end
if
of the
you're
day-
selling it for $10 and the
It doesn't
Chinese
hurt,
selling
though.
it for $5,
Mm-hmm.
the person is gonna go
Johnson,
where
let's
it's
look at it.
selling
It
for
doesn't
less.
hurt because
No.
that's what they do.
No, let me.
So why can't we do it?
So are
I'm
you
not
saying we should
it's a
pay
be all and
higher
end all.
prices? Because that's what I'm saying. If the Chinese is selling it for $5,
Johnson, I'm
and
sure.
as a local, I'm selling it for $10.
I'm not even
where
going.
are you gonna
Okay,
go?
I'm not even going into price.
So it's competition.
Let's look at
It's
this
competition,
Johnson.
service.
but a lot of
Johnson.
times I have actually done it many times. I'd rather to pay a local more than give the Chinese
That's
my money.
fine.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. And that's fine.
Not gonna happen.
Wait, the caller is still
Yeah,
talking. Sorry.
caller, go ahead.
But how much of locals are you going to support? How much? I don't support locals when I feel like, because sometimes when you go into them, they don't give you a good thing to say good morning.
Yeah,
Can
the
I help
customer
you?
service too.
How is it? And how many locals does it?
Well, you have to hold your nose to the bigger picture sometimes.
So
I
you-
understand. I'm not saying that.
I agree. I understand what you're saying.
I'm saying.
Jamster. I understood. But everybody doesn't read the same picture of what you're reading.
So, Jamsor, let me ask you a question. You would patronize a certain business if it is that you go in there, they're very rude to you just because they're Kitishon?
Well, not if they're egregiously rude. I would say something. I'd probably shop, but I'd say, listen, I come in here because I see the bigger picture. You don't see it. You need to maybe be a little better with your customer service if you want to keep my business. That's what I would probably do. Because I'm still seeing the bigger picture. I might not take the time to explain the bigger
And the
picture
bigger
to him.
picture is what? What's the bigger picture?
The bigger picture is I'm going to support my own over other people. The end.
And other people being every foreigner?
Yes.
Noted.
Jamster, you have a point. That is you.
I don't
But everybody
consider.
doesn't
By the way, I don't
like.
consider you a foreigner. So don't even
Yeah,
try
sure,
that.
don't say
Don't even try that.
I'm not a foreigner.
No, I'm talking about.
he's
I'm talking about
referring to
Candy.
me.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I mean,
back to the Port Zanta issue, right?
Yes.
And the people are speaking about the Port Zanta issue and that doesn't know absolutely one thing about the Port Zanta. For them to get it, you have to talk to Dr. Sir Kennedy Simmons, who brought in Mr. Matalan from St. Lucia to give up 25 acres of seawater to give lands. And he instructed that these lands down at Port Zanta will be for the locals, for them to come and put on buildings. How many locals you think is went on and put on buildings at Port Zanta? The only person tried it was Mr. Kisho. Then you had one right over there by first class that was under be two persons from St. Kitts. But the others is Indians. We doesn't speak bad about the Indians. We're speaking bad about the Chinese. And it is wrong. Everybody has to eat.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
Hey, I can go in on the Indians if you want, but I'm not in the mood. So.
Everybody has to eat, and we
Listen
all
his
support.
point. Let him make his point.
Everybody support who they want to support. Nobody is going to tell me I must not go in the Chinese and I'm not going around. I normally go around. From Rams, I go to Chinese, and that's it. You all have a good day.
Thank you so much, and same to you.
All right.
You know, I think it's essential for us to hear what the caller is saying so that we could rebut properly.
Yeah.
You know,
of course.
And he made some pretty valid
Yeah, he
points.
did, he did.
At the end of the day, people have a choice. And that's
Yeah.
the good thing about it. We have so many supermarkets and stores here that we have a choice. You know, so if you don't like something at one store, you can simply go to another.
Exactly.
You guys want to squeeze one more in? It's 10:01, but let's squeeze it. Caller, go right ahead.
Yes, good morning to y'all.
Yeah.
That I got in so late, but I listened to the whole dialogue this morning, and it is so sad that, our people just seem so naive. A female caller earlier made such profound statement when she said, "We just not seeing the picture. These people have a long-term goal." You understand? They didn't just come here just haphazardly, so, they studied us. They know we are always against one another. They know we don't support one another. They came with a plan. But you think all of them make sure they got a wife? They're not supposed to be meeting, getting married to local. They're not mingling. They come for a reason. And it is not just one generation. They are setting up for the generations to come. You understand? We had Taiwanese here. Look how long. We never had no problem with them. Because on Taiwan, they are like the Hans people, what they call, the Hans. They was chased off mainland China. So this brand of Chinese that we're dealing with is from mainland China. They have a different way of seeing and doing things. They come prepared to take over. We can't see. No, we will get gone. But it's our generations is who will have to suffer. When these people plan the projects, right? They don't know. Okay, bribe money started them $2 million there for that project. So what they do? They get to our leaders. And once they grease the palm or grease the whole body, they got us. Our decision makers in the palm of the hand, they have us.
So we could bang them out on the radio all what we want. They're just smiling from ear to ear behind there like, let them talk all they want. They have a plan. It is not just by coincidence. So the lady, ma'am, I totally agree with you. We are missing the ball about the convenience and so on. Of course, the thing them cheaper, I tried to resist for like 5 years without supporting Chinese, and then may have to fall in line after COVID, but I have to stretch me dollar. Eventually, they know we're going to have to come to that. So, we could run all the way around the bush. The rental of the building them, yes, local will approach these landlords to rent this building and the kind of prices they're giving them. They can't afford it. The Chinese come and just double, triple the rent. Of course, they're renting to them. They have a big game plan in mind. It is not to help us.
I could ask you a question.
Convenient. You understand?
I could ask you a question.
Restaurant, supermarket, they come up with the $5 food first. I used to be in the food business. There's no way you could sell no plate of food for no $5 and make no profit. We reached $12. Right now, a plate of food is like $15 and maybe $12 for the cook-up and so on. It is expensive. So then they move from the restaurant. We let them go into the supermarket. They're doing air conditioning. We have people here making balustrade. They start making balustrade. Actual stores. Now they're into construction. Look at what's going on in our prison. They come with a sham that, the lot of talks was about the prison. So they fling in a local contractor, give him a little token. And when everybody stop talking about the prison, bam, they go back, they take back all the other buildings them and that same prison. Because the media ain't on it no more, no camera going over there. So they're just quietly doing the thing in the background. These people very smart, they know what they're doing, and they know we are just a gullible people. We just run along with whatever. Oh, the thing is cheaper. Oh, who tell I ever in there? When CDC and half for them call, they say we don't have to go. But it's human nature. What do you think the guy in this VAT reduced there? It's human nature. We can go, we can buy, we can try to get the stretch our dollar, so to speak. And I know the time is short, so there's a gentleman calling and talk about what have the Chinese take over? What does Chinese do to us? We not seeing the danger of these people. And let me just give a quick figure, like I said before, I just Google get from Google. Okay, apart from Sri Lanka, so they own the port now 85%. Let me go to Africa, Angola, and these countries in Africa now that they're so indebted to, right? That they're telling them in the fine print, if you don't pay up, we will have to take over. You didn't see when you were signing on the dotted line. They can't do nothing. They're struggling. Angola, 42.6 billion US. Ethiopia, 13.7 billion US. Zambia, 9.8 billion US. Kenya, 9.2 billion US. And I will just stop there because I'm sure.
Caller, before you go.
No friend of ours.
Before you go.
I could have the Taiwanese here any day as long as they want. They are different. Those Han people are different. Yeah, they're Chinese too. But they're different. They're like the indigenous Chinese.
Caller, before you go.
One from them wicked set of
Caller.
We let Chinese take over agriculture, which they are leading to. These farmers might as well pack up.
Caller.
You're trying to get in.
Yes, I know. Let me ask you one question though. What is your recommendation?
That we curtail the avenues that they get into. The lady there saying about Shibaloon, she will never be able to compete with them. They are state-sponsored business. Even if she sells Shibaloon for $2, they could sell it for $1, they could sell it for 50 cents.
Okay,
you can't compete with them. Competition on my foot.
Okay.
You don't have the resources.
What
can't lend you enough money.
So then we need state subsidies too.
For locals.
Pardon me?
Wouldn't that help us if our country helped us just the same?
Yes, but we don't have those resources to do it. You see, the farmers them crying out. Some of them to this day and age still talking about rain-fed agriculture. You see, they're talking about going to put our cow down our good loamy soil, best in the Caribbean.
So we don't have any solutions? Cover. That's what you're saying? There are no solutions?
There is no.
We don't have any solutions? There's nothing that we can do that would put us...
the type of leaders we choose. They must be kind of people, not just because they have a masters. They must be looking out for our own interests. There must be people who are not willing to take no bribe.
Right, so the solution is government, right?
So the solution is government then.
Which is what I was saying all morning.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Which is what I was saying all morning. It lies with the legislation.
Right, but if we elect the type of people who are going to pander to the Chinese, we're not going to get anywhere.
But we wouldn't
We
know
had
until they get
12
in.
12 people used to sell in front of Social Security. When that Chinese built thing came there was outside a Matalan land, you know. They had a timber fence, and they were selling it like I had a 6-foot verge. Up to now, nobody could say how much the Chinese paid for the verge. But they had a step on the ramp. That was government land. That was not part of Matalan land. That wasn't part of urban development. And they just run the people, them. I mean, they call solid waste to dump the people tent and all kind of thing. And who was complaining? Another man in front there. But, oh, yeah, some ramshackles in front there and blah, blah, blah. So they have a way of getting the things done. They don't have to make no noise, according to the female caller. They just systematically erode you. And when you look at yourself, you ain't even know. Like I said, it is not we going to suffer, you know. It's our children. They're not selling back no property to us, you know. So when we give them prime land there, you think they're ever coming back to local control again? Hell no. They have a master plan.
No, that's a different.
People just can't see.
To me, that's a different issue when it comes to the sale of land and those kind of things.
No,
that's
it's
a different.
not. Right.
No,
it's
no.
not.
Renting and opening a business is different to sale of land, Jamster.
No, but you're missing his overall point.
You see that?
No.
The Chinese supermarket down by the public market?
Mm-hmm.
That place was open for like almost a year and something before people was really patronizing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it was a local, he would have probably done gone under. But they have that ability. They could be in it for the long haul. It is not mom and pops owning those shops, you know. It is state. So when they try out the mom and pops can't compete with them. They must be able to sell, and they buy in bulk, they produce, and it is outlet for China's products. Sometimes you go in there and you could hardly find quality stuff, but what? People buying them still because they want to stretch the dollar. But we not. We don't open later. Maybe Value Mart and them opening the hours like the Chinese. But I could almost bet you it costs in Value Mart them more to keep opening on the weekend than it costs in the Chinese, because it kind of almost slave-like workers they got. Value Mart got to pay the taxes that some of them don't even pay. You understand? So it is not even playing field story. We got to get rid of that notion. They are here to take over.
Yes,
it's hard to believe, but trust me, young educators,
Okay,
open your eyes. These people, like I said, I have no problem with the Taiwanese. They've been here. They have not disrupted our society. This brand of Chinese is not good for us.
Okay, yeah, you said all that already. Okay, great. And you know,
Thank you so much for your
Thanks
call.
for your
to
contribution,
Candy, and
Carl.
I think both of you agree that the problem is that we need to find politicians who love themselves and love their people, and that's what it comes down to, because everything flows out of that. All you need is love. The Beatles song says.
The problem is, how do you know? I mean, they say one thing when they want to get in, and then when they get in, things might change. The caller himself said it, you know, grease their palm or grease their whole body.
Exactly.
You know, so
I didn't want to go there.
But at the end, but that's what the caller said.
Yes,
I'm just quoting
yeah.
him. But at the end of the day, I still think that the power lies with us. Meaning, one, who we elect. Two, our government and the legislation that they make. Three, us as individuals.
Yes.
Right? Yes, I might not ever be able to compete with them according to the caller, but there's still ways that I can make my business competitive. And so instead of me walking around holding my head and crying, he right. Look at them, take from their example, and either better it or find a way to compete on the same stage.
But look at this,
right? So instead of hitting
Candy,
out at them and crying
I like
out,
what you said, the third point. Ourselves, look at it. We look at the mom and pop shops and they're individuals. You understand? We look at the Chinese and they're together. Why can't couple mom and pop shops on one street come together and say, boy, things, let's group together.
Merge, cooperative,
let's merge. And we're going to, on this whole street,
their own specialty in the
this
same
whole street,
area.
This is going to be a big complex. So instead of having 5 mom and pop shops on the road, you put it together. All of you have different shares. And then you compete. But you see, what we're doing, we are
fighting against each other.
And not coming together. The Chinese, as the pointer, the callers have made, they're coming together. They're putting their resources together, so we too can do that.
Really saddens me how we relate to each other.
You know,
It's
I
really,
work with
really
other event planners, and sometimes I don't even get the event, right? Another event planner might get the event. They come to me and they rent stuff. And I rent it to them at a cheaper rate because at the end of the day, I am getting business. they are getting business. So everybody is eating.
Yes.
So even if I don't get the event, I'm still benefiting from the event, and they are also benefiting from the event. Why should I give them at an exorbitant price or not rent it to them when both of us can make something from the event? And that is what we're not getting.
Yes, and the thing is, we
have to work together.
And we
if
all
it
have
is
to
that we're seeing them as the bigger picture and the enemy, then what are we doing about it? I think Azard asked the caller, what's your solution? Come up with a solution, because at the end of the day, we can't stop them. And even if we want to stop them, it still lies with the government.
Exactly. And let's say.
So then, what are we going to do about it?
My point is,
I don't have any faith in that in them.
Exactly. So what are we going to do about it?
What I'm saying as well, let's say that they're not here. They're not here. So they're not here. They're not providing the services that we need. There's still a gap.
Exactly.
Are we willing to even fill that gap if they're not even there?
And to the caller's point as well, it's not just the Chinese. Half of Port Zante is full of Indian stores. So why are we lashing out at a different race or a different people or however you want to term it when nobody is stopping us from going down there and doing the same thing? They had locals who had shops down there. I mean, COVID hit everybody in a different way. During COVID, I couldn't do any events.
Candy, you know what the key is?
But I did consulting.
The key is, you just referenced it. The COVID, post-COVID, with a lot of local businesses closed down. You know the reason why a lot of the Indian stores are still open? Because they work together.
Exactly. And that's what I just said.
Even in one community, you see the individualism. This person doing one thing, this person, which is fine.
Yeah. And then, but they lash out and cry down each other. And that is what we are our own worst enemy.
Sometimes if you don't have the resources in yourself and you see other persons with this dream and vision, why not come together and say, boy,
listen,
I see that you have the same mindset as me. Let's try to work on something.
Somebody called me last night to rent tablecloths. I didn't have the color. I called another event planner. She had them. I got the information. I passed it on to the person that wanted the tablecloth. Why do I have to? Okay, I don't have them. And at the end of the day, it's customer service, because guess what? That person gonna still come back to me. I'm not gonna lose the customer because at the end of the day, I am making it convenient for them. So even if I don't have it, I send them to another vendor that I know has it. They'll still come back to me. It's customer service and convenience.
Yes.
We do not have to pull each other down.
And also, we have to do. Candy is doing her part for togetherness. Listeners, I hope you guys are listening to Candy. This is what we have to do.
It's always a fight down for no reason.
We all have to do our small part to help each other. And Candy, congratulations. I like the, I like the attitude. No, that's what we all have to do. That's what we all have to do, because we can't depend on the politicians, clearly.
Precisely.
So we have to do.
We have to do our parts, because the government should assist, but if we're not getting the assistance through them, you can't just sit down and say, well, me ain't gonna do nothing.
I hope they're internalizing our cynicism to directed at them, and maybe they might prove us wrong. Going forward, let's see what happens. Okay, it's 10:16.
This was a heated up. When I came here, I never thought that we would have had such a morning.
That was not the topic we were planning.
But some of the most heated moments are so spontaneous.
But I learned a lot, because sometimes you don't know what's going on out there, right? So thank you so much for the calls.
And
they put us in touch with what's happening.
Of course, we are going to have different views on different things, but that's why we engage.
And the comments, our comment section has been lit.
Well, how come y'all didn't read any comments? I actually had some to read too, and I forgot.
So many calls were coming in, and then listening to the callers to try to see where they're coming from, to try to.
But most of them have said, so kind of like the same thing. We go to the Chinese because they're cheaper. Somebody said, we can't compete with them. What gap? We do not need their food. It's not healthy. We survived before the Chinese came to sing kits. To compete with the Chinese store, kitchens have to come together. I think this is what Azard was also speaking about. Come together with a big project, a cooperation, a big supermarket, etc. Mama and pop shops will never be able to compete.
Exactly. I
We are
didn't even see that comment.
Enemy. Yeah.
but it is to come together, because I was thinking on St. Kitts and Nevis, if we are going to look at us, if we're going to use the notion us versus them, there are many more of us than them.
Yeah.
You understand?
Well, at least here.
Hear what I mean? So
I know, because
so when we're a small fraction of the population, you know that, but it's more. So if we really want to be the change, we have to be the change. If we really want change, we have to be the change.
You know, someone said cultural diversity is about bringing people together from a diverse set of backgrounds and cultures, then creating an environment that not only recognizes the difference between those cultures and backgrounds, but celebrates them. And it's sad that, you know, instead of us seeing it as us growing, because when I first moved here, it was predominantly black, and then you started seeing the Indians, the Chinese, and of course there were the white persons and the expats. But that is what makes St. Kitts St. Kitts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we had only one thing, it would be boring. We would never grow. But by other persons coming in and you learning about their culture, their beliefs, their religion, whatever, it makes St. Kitts more interesting. It makes for a diverse population and a learned population. If you're open to learning what they have to offer and they're learning what we have and already in existence.
And as we change,
isn't it better?
If you look at it, societies change, they evolve, they develop. Things don't stay stagnant.
Never.
So St. Kitts and Nevis in 1624 is not the same St. Kitts and Nevis in 2023.
Even 1994 to now.
Yeah.
Because look, we have a whole Port Zante that wasn't here in 1994. They only reclaimed the land after.
Mm-hmm.
So like Azard is saying, we have to change.
Society,
we have to evolve.
I find that when you look at society is so complex.
Mm-hmm.
Society is a complex organism, but we want to keep society as something that's simple. You know, that's never changing.
But you know what's not complex?
What's that?
How we fix it. The politicians, 2 words.
That is complex.
Do better.
Yeah, and so I know we had this
I
spin
don't
cycle, but
think that's simple.
I think
that's complex
I think
too.
that we
That's
have to look at
complex too,
all facets as it approach. I mean, yes, I see that there are some persons who are saying we have to keep our culture, we have to keep what we're doing, but.
And I support that.
And I support that.
Wholeheartedly.
But in the same way, in keeping our culture, we still have to be flexible.
And open.
That we keep our culture, but still we develop.
Well, there's one thing.
Keeping your culture doesn't mean you can't accept and embrace another
one. There is an overarching thing that we ignore when we discuss this, is that no one goes after the Asians for the way they run things in their country. Nobody goes after them for their
really? Nobody goes after them?
No, meaning the fact that, you know, we like to espouse diversity here and all of that. But over there, I mean, you guys saw how they were treated.
You think we don't call out communism?
I mean,
no, wait.
I get the point you're saying. You're saying that over there, they run their affairs how they want to run their affairs.
And nobody can tell them anything. But
which is a valid point, Jamsa, because they're very regulated.
Do you see? No, you're making it sound all bureaucratic. Here's what I'm saying. You saw how they treated the African students during COVID. You heard about all the terrible things that they did to the African students.
They also treated them terribly in Ukraine when the war started.
Yes, but the point I'm making is their culture is not very amenable to the diversity diversity that we embrace over here in the West.
Yeah, I understand.
So that's the point I'm saying. And nobody drags them over the coals for that. But we over
but
here,
we're dragging them right now over the coals for treating Africans badly.
Yeah, I know.
We're not going to sit down and allow that. I'm just saying in
general it doesn't happen. But,
I understand what you're saying, Jamsa.
So we have people hammering us for saying,
but Jamsa, if you look the East and the West, the West has a certain more democratic, more a little bit more liberal. Over in the East, you see it's more conservative, it's more communism. So our culture, our laws and our regulations are much more liberal
and
in that sense than over there.
Another key defining.
So they are not really. In fact, they are embracing what we already offer. You catch what I'm saying?
Not really.
When I say when we offer,
because this defining difference cuts to what we're discussing.
Go ahead.
And what we all agree on. That's a collectivist culture where they believe in elevating the whole over the individual. And they work together. And we, on the other hand, because we've been colonized, I think, we a lot of the times elevate the individual over collectivist, over the collectivist.
But that behavioral pattern isn't something that can be fixed with legislation.
I know, but here's what I'm saying. But we're all on the same page. You know what I'm saying? We have largely abandoned the African saying that says it takes a village because we don't work together. And this is at least one arrow in the quiver of pushing back against what our politicians have unleashed on us.
Chinese business stores get together and buy in bulk,
Thank
like
you.
a cooperative. That's why they can sell cheaper.
And the same thing I'm saying. So you can't compete with them there when you got mom and pop shops, but you have 5 mom and pop shops in the same. All of them are neighbors. All of them know each other. All of them go up with each other, but they won't say, guys, let's get together and let's make a massive supermarket here. We put our resources together, and we benefit from the what we put in is what we get out.
Exactly. Yeah.
So until we get to that point, we're always gonna have this conversation.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna come to buy from me, and somebody gonna say, "Why you going by she? Come by me."
Exactly.
Right?
Even within the same community.
Yeah.
Or you always over by X and thing shop. You don't come over
what
here.
happened then? What you want today? No? It's a whole attitude.
and this whole thing, we need to done with this thing is, so and so is not gonna get rich off of me. That kind of thinking needs to go away.
That's another
nonsense.
One. That's true.
We gotta stop with that nonsense.
We've had a very passionate, spirited morning.
Yes.
But it was also very educational. Oh Lord, it was also very educational.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for tuning in today.
Yeah. Okay. We basically
meet us back here, same time, same place tomorrow for Island Tea.
we basically ignored 420.
Same energy.
We have the rest of the day to dedicate to 420, even though we ignored it mostly.
We ignored 420. You and I had a whole 420 conversation.
Well, 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, and you know with 420, right? Based on the research, it's
use
best.
It responsibly.
Yeah, it's best that you engage after your mind is fully developed, after you've reached through the puberty stage. I think based on my research, I think
and I agree with that.
In adulthood,
the
use of it is
you ate that research.
Let's hear it.
He didn't know what 420 was before.
Leave my host alone. Azard,
I didn't know that the terminology for 420.
I don't know
but
why we
I
made
knew
him find
marijuana and cannabis
and ganja
and
Mary Jane
and weed.
You need some licks with a hemp punter.
This song was said, pass the Dutchie on the left hand side. The Dutchie is what?
Yeah, same
the
thing.
Dutchie is like the thing that.
The Dutchie is the thing that's
like the bong. That's
so
that's
is the same.
But it's the same thing they're putting in.
Okay, so of course, so we know the knowledge, which is the cannabis, and so research have shown that smoking of it should be done after your mind has been fully developed. So children and stuff, no, because your mind is still very developing. You're still going through those stages. Just like you wouldn't encourage children to drink alcohol as well.
It's funny you said that, because I agree with the smoking for sure. But I've seen like a documentary on CNN where there was a child, she was going through so much of pain, like a terminal illness. And they would give it to her, not in a smoking form, of course, like tea, liquid.
But they would, in those kind of things, I think they would at least
the
monitor.
doctor was the one administering.
They would know the proportions and stuff like that. So that's a different case. With the smoking, you just take out the bush, wherever you don't.
Too many young people are indulging. That's my issue.
Yeah.
Too many young persons are indulging and abusing it. So and
again,
it's a bad rap.
The use of it, we find that it's
so just have one split later, easy. Just
moderation
one,
is key.
Well, I mean, I think my brain has fully
developed. You're good to go.
Also, you're gonna have two. Then.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying. If it is, then
on a fully developed brain, how much are we allowed to have?
I didn't do that research.
You guys are a mess. Okay. Have a good day, everyone, and enjoy and indulge responsibly. Have a good one.
Okay.